Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes,
Rookie J.C. Escarra took the Yankees on a late-night joyride down Victory Lane on Wednesday to secure a series victory against the San Diego Padres. Now they packed their bags and headed to California for a first-ever stop at a different ballpark as the Yankees get ready for some action in Sacramento. It is the first of a three-game set between the New York Yankees and the Athletics from Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento, California. And speaking of a late-night joyride, welcome to Yes After Dark at the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty with you. First of three between the Yanks and the A's. Yanks coming off taking 2 of 3 from the Padres, a West Coast team. Now they're out west playing in a park they've never played at. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing this park for the first time, but I'm glad you mentioned the 2 wins against the San Diego Padres. Both of those wins feel-good wins because they came from behind. They won the games late. We saw J.C. Escarra with that walk-off sacrifice fly, but they beat San Diego Padres. They also beat a very good bullpen for the Padres. So the Yankees have to feel good about those couple of wins. And then you mentioned going to Sacramento. They're going to be on the West Coast a lot the month of May. They have 6 games out there now, 3 against the A's, 3 against the Mariners. You're wondering if they can get on a roll on the West Coast. And getting on a roll, I talk about Devin Williams. I think that was the best we have seen him as a New York Yankee that last outing against the Padres. A lot of conviction with his changeup. You want to see that continue out on the West Coast.
All right, we'll talk more about Devin coming up in just a bit, but want to remind you that after 57 seasons, the Athletics have a new home in Sacramento. Sutter Health Park opened in 2000, and it is the home of the Sacramento River Cats, the Giants' AAA affiliate. New changes include quadrupling the grounds crew, installing AirPat technology for natural grass, and the use of drone monitoring, infrared scanning, and infield moisture sensors. And with that in mind, somebody who's experiencing all of that right now, Meredith Barakovitz with the Clubhouse Report, presented by your local Ford stores. And this is a trip unlike any other, quite literally, as the Yankees embark upon this trip to Sacramento to play the A's. What's the mood like at that ballpark?
Bob, everybody's just kind of taking a look around and feeling things out, getting used to the environment. During the Yankees hitters meeting, they spoke about the dimensions of the ballpark and the way the wind has been blowing in at times, something to keep an eye on. Also, you mentioned the fact that they quadrupled the grounds crew for good reason. Between the River Cats and the A's, they're going to play 150 games here, and that's part of the reason. As you look on the grass, they have do not walk on the grass signs during BP to make sure that people do not touch that grass. They want to try to preserve it and keep it as nice as possible for all 150 of those games. Now, there are some obstacles that'll be a little different than a major league park. I spoke with Austin Wells, who is not in tonight's lineup, about how he gets ready during the game should Aaron Boone want to go to him in a pinch hit situation or to catch late in the game. And he said he'll probably get ready in about the 5th inning. The Yankees clubhouse is located out in left field, so you have to actually run through the field or on the warning track to get out to that clubhouse. So he's going to go out there and get ready around the 5th, 6th inning and then stay in the Yankees dugout should they need him. And if he needs to do anything like lunges, stretching, any additional work, that'll happen right there in that Yankees dugout. Now, they also added a brand new video board out there in right center field, and they completely redid the clubhouse that the A's are using. And earlier today in that clubhouse, I found a former Yankee in Luis Severino, and I asked him about playing here in Sacramento, and he said it is just different. It's not a major league park. You have to adjust to some things. Mainly for him, in between innings, you're not able to go into the clubhouse and do whatever you need to do. You're stuck there in the dugout. And he also noted the wind. Some days it's blowing in a ton, other days it's not. You really have to pitch to that and attack hitters accordingly, or you could really be hurt. Now, there are several former Yankees in that A's clubhouse, Severino being one of them. Let's take a look at the pitching matchups for this series. Tomorrow, you are going to see another former Yankee in J.P. Sears and Luis Severino on Sunday. When I spoke to Severino, I asked him about pitching against his former team for the first time with the A's.
I think it's going to be exciting, familiar faces. I grew up watching and playing with them. I think it's going to be fun, I just need to go out there, enjoy myself, and try to have fun.
As you look at that lineup, I'm sure there's one guy that concerns you more than others, and that's Aaron Judge. How do you wrap your head around what he's been doing to start the season?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I feel like every year he gets better and better. Usually the first month is the worst month for him, and he's hitting 400, so it's going to be really tough to face him on Sunday. I will do my best to try and to not, keep out of the bases.
How much time do you spend trying to figure out how to attack him?
There is nothing that you can do. You just go out there and whatever you feel is going to work, just throw it out there. I think there is not much to look around. He can hit everything, and he can hit everything hard. So for him, you just go out there and try to compete against him. What
impressed you about him as a teammate when you guys were teammates?
Yeah, for me, one of my favorite guys that I play with, he's just... They're always the same guy, when he's homer, when he's 0 for 4, he's always trying to help everybody. When we win a game, it's like, doesn't matter if he got a base hit or a homer. It doesn't matter for him. It's just, everything's all winning, I love that about him.
And you can catch that entire interview with Luis Severino tomorrow during the BP show. I actually asked J.P. Sears that very same question, and he took me back to 2022. J.P. Sears had made the opening day roster for the Yankees. He flew with the team from Tampa to New York, was excited for opening day. His parents came to town. Before opening day, he got a phone call from Aaron Judge congratulating him and saying, "Hey, I have a table for you at Don Angie in the city. Do you want it?" And Sears said, "Of course I want it." So he and his family went to dinner, and as they're about to order, Aaron Judge walks in, has dinner with them, introduces himself to Sears' parents, picks up the whole tab. He just wanted to make sure that Sears was comfortable and felt like part of the team heading into the season. So Aaron Judge, known to do those things away from the field. We know what he can do when he is on the field. Aaron Judge is in the lineup, and he is playing right field. It's going to be Jason Dominguez in left field, Trent Grisham in center field. So no Cody Bellinger tonight, just a night off for him as Aaron Boone continues to rotate those outfielders. And as I had mentioned, Austin Wells is not in the lineup, just a day off for him as well. He'll likely catch back-to-back day games. Aaron Boone saying he wasn't going to play him all three with the 2 day games, so he opted to give him this evening off. One more note here before I send it back to you, Bob, and that is the Morgan & Morgan injury report. There was some talk that maybe DJ LeMahieu would join the team during this series. He was supposed to play in a rehab game tonight. However, that was postponed due to rain, so it's looking more likely that he'll join the team during the Seattle series. So that is something to keep an eye on there. And other than that, just another kind of odd scene here. A lot of Yankees fans, a minor league ballpark, as we know, the second time the Yankees are playing in a minor league ballpark so far this season.
It's different, no doubt about that. Meredith, thank you. Have a great night. We'll see you in just a bit with Justin Shackle and Jeff Nelson. Now, all season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with a hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Well, time for our first break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame show. Trent Grisham came through in the clutch late in Wednesday's win against the Padres. And when we come back, we check out the Bombers lineup as they kick off their 6-game road trip out west. That's all here on Yes and streaming on the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. New customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
It's time for the pregame odd segment presented by FanDuel. The Yankees begin the 6-game road trip out west, taking on the A's. For a same-game parlay, let's go with Aaron Judge recording an RBI, Anthony Volpe to record a hit, and Will Warren to strike out over 6 batters. Those odds are at a plus 632. New FanDuel customers can get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
Let's take a look at the Yankees lineup that'll go out there tonight. Game 1 against the A's. It comes your way courtesy of Toyota. Trent Grisham leading off. 10th homer in the last game, pitch hitting in the 8th. His 10 homers now more than he had all of last season. Ben Rice DHing, batting third between Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt. And J.C. Escar, as Meredith mentioned, coming off his pinch hit game-winning sac fly, catching Will Warren. And we'll talk about that in a second. But Trent Grisham just continues to put together really quality at-bats, and he's forcing himself into that lineup on a nightly basis.
Yeah, Bob, and this started the first day of spring training when Trent Grisham showed up. He had one of those magical springs where he just seemed to be locked in right from the beginning of the year. And you give Aaron Boone credit because he recognized what he did in spring training, gave him some at-bats early in the year, and Grisham has responded, not only with the 10 home runs and that impressive OPS right there, but there's a swagger with him leading off games, and his swing is a little unorthodox, right? It's like he's chopping wood. He's really short to the baseball. He doesn't swing at pitches out of the zone, but the one thing that we've seen from Grisham all year, high batting average, plenty of power, but the ability to hit in the clutch. The other night being able to pinch hit, 2-run home run to tie things up, but he's had that ability all year long. You feel like he's the guy, one of the guys. Obviously Aaron Judge would be in that conversation too, but a big spot late in the game. Trent Grisham is your guy that you want to have up at the plate. The way he plays center field and how mellow and chill he is, it's the same way when he steps up to the plate. The moment doesn't seem to overwhelm him. He stays in the strike zone, and with that short, quick, strong swing, the results have been there.
Does that swing help eliminate some swing and miss, put the ball in play, and then that kind of makes him an ideal leadoff guy, right?
Yeah, obviously, we always are looking at hitters, especially retired catchers, on how would you try to get them out? Do they have a big leg kick? Is there a lot of movement with their hands? When you watch Trent in the box, everything is so simple and short. And again, the path to the baseball, it's not this launch angle swing. It's direct down to the ball, and he doesn't have that extended follow through. It keeps him in the strike zone. It keeps him on the barrel, and the results, especially the power numbers, have been there.
When the Yanks won a couple nights ago, it was Escara with the game-winning sac fly. Just flash to see the sheer joy on his face and his teammates of what he accomplished. You know, we saw that earlier, his first major league home run. Now we see it his first walk-off. It's great stuff.
You know what was so cool about that at bat, watching it, Bob, was you see the end result here is a sacrifice fly that he drives the other way. What you don't see is a whole at bat where he was a little bit overmatched with velocity early in that at bat. And then a young hitter, he's young, he's 30 years old, but not a lot of major league experience, the ability to shorten up his swing and realize the moment. I just have to put the ball in play. But that moment right there, he's never going to forget. When your teammates mob you out on the field and you have a walk-off moment, everything that he has been through, it's a fantastic story. But that moment, nobody will ever be able to take away from him, however the rest of his major league career goes.
So the guy they're facing tonight, Oswaldo Vito, has never seen the Yankees. Clay Bellinger, but he's not in the lineup. Cody Bellinger, by the way. But I knew I'd do that once this season. But he's a challenging guy. 5-pitch pitcher, Flash, but he also tends to walk a lot of guys.
He walks a lot of guys. The best pitch that he has is his changeup, so the Yankees are going to have to game plan against that. And you love that Luis Severino is kind of taking him under his wings, thinking that he's got a bright future. He kind of works with him in between starts with his side session. But the problem for Beto lately, he's been giving up a lot of home runs in his last couple of starts. In Sacramento, the ballpark is played as a hitter's ballpark with the ball flying out. We'll see how it plays tonight. But with all those home runs that he's given up lately, the Yankees' powerful lineup, you'd expect maybe a long ball or two might be the difference in this one.
All right, time to step aside on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Will Warren recorded a career-high 8 strikeouts in his last outing on Sunday. Now he hopes to get the Yanks a win to begin the West Coast trip. We discuss Warren next on Yes.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
I'm News 12 meteorologist Alex Calamia with your game day forecast, and it's a hot start. Even though it's a late game, it's nearly 90 degrees for the first pitch, but because it's such a dry heat, the temperature drops really nicely throughout the game. As soon as the sun sets, it's comfortable out there. Heading home, temperatures, they're in the 70s. We go from highs in the 90s in Sacramento today to lows overnight in the 60s, so we're feeling pretty comfy. How are you feeling? Let us know here at News 12.
Thank you, Alex, for that. Let's take a look at the A's lineup brought to you by Toyota. It begins with shortstop Jacob Wilson. He's a rookie. He's leading off, and he's batting .357 with a .383 on-base percentage. Yankees fans familiar with third baseman Miguel Andujar, the former Yank, batting sixth in this lineup. Over his last 11, a .390 hitter with 8 runs batted in. And they go up against Will Warren tonight. None of these guys have ever seen Warren, so that's going to be sort of the challenge for both. But as we look at Warren, he's coming up that start against Tampa Bay where he couldn't get into the fifth, and as you said, struck out a lot of guys, but then also had his problems.
Yeah, it's an interesting time right now for Will Warren. You see that 20 pitches per inning. That's not a number that you like, but he also has some numbers that you do like. 8 strikeouts his last outing. He took the loss in 4 2/3 innings, and he gave up 5 runs. So I think his last outing is it sums up the position Will Warren is in right now and where the Yankees are looking at him. You have a young starter who struck out 8 in 4 2/3 innings. You love that. But you also have a young starter who gave up 5 runs and only lasted 4 2/3 innings. So those are rooms or departments that he has got to get better at. This will be his 8th start this year, and you're kind of getting the feeling, Bob, that he's not a young starter anymore, right? He should be graduating to the next level. For him, it's getting the pitches per inning down, so that means attacking a little bit more earlier in counts, and it also means getting deeper into ball games. He has not got past the 5th inning in any of his starts. If you're a starting pitcher at the major league level, you have to find a way to take some pressure off of your bullpen guys. And it just kind of has that feeling now, the 8th start of the year, he's getting to that point that he needs to start showing more improvement.
So if you were catching him, how do you get, again, I'm not going to call him a young guy because he pitches like a veteran when he pitches well. And by that, I mean, and he'll say this after starts, I was aggressive, I was confident, I was attacking, going after guys. But then why does a guy lose that? How does it go sideways?
It's probably more the mental side of it, Bob, than it is the physical side, because he's shown everybody he has the tools to be a major league starter. A lot of times a young starter will get to that 4th and 5th inning, and right away you start saying, I got to get through the 5th inning so I can get to the 6th. Remember, Clark Schmidt years ago was going through that same transition. He's now gotten past that. But it's the same thing for Will Warren right now. And you have J.C. Escara behind the plate who has worked with him recently. Maybe they're going to find a little bit of something. But you asked the question, if I was catching, it would be strike one is the most important pitch. Whatever that pitch is, a good fastball, a good sweeper, whatever it is, get ahead in the count and stay aggressive. Pitch to contact. His stuff is so good, he's going to get swings and misses anyway. But pitch in the strike zone and pitch aggressively.
And as we always say, do that early. Get through the A's a few times, couple innings. Who would be somebody you'd be looking out for? I mentioned the leadoff hitter, Jacob Wilson, has really good numbers so far.
That's the guy I'm looking at because he's a guy that puts the ball in play, second highest batting average in the major leagues. He has been moved from the middle of the lineup to the leadoff spot. He's kind of that tone setter for the A's. Will Warren takes care of him, probably has a good night.
All right, so top of the show, you rewound to a couple nights ago, Devin Williams pitching well, though he did walk and hit a batter, but he looked different that inning. Why did he look different to you?
Bob, when I watch these changeups, it's the arm speed and the conviction to really sell this pitch. He struck out 3 really good hitters, and they looked like they had no chance on that changeup. Watch the finish with his hand, the body language. I mean, that's the Devin Williams that we have seen with the Milwaukee Brewers. And I thought maybe for the first or second time this year, just a lot of conviction with that changeup. And a changeup is sold with arm speed and kind of selling it to a hitter. He had a dominant changeup the other night. I think the Yankees are saying, all right, that's the guy that we knew we were trading for. Now can we get him on a rollout on the West Coast before we come back home?
Got to take one last break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. We're going to hear flashes key to the game as we inch our way closer to first pitch between the Yankees and the A's, so keep it right here.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by EEP Law. Counsel that cares. Results that matter. The Yankees you in part by Cadillac. Spring is the season for new beginnings, and it's the best time to get behind the wheel of a sophisticated new Cadillac SUV. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today.
Hey, Yankees fans, we have a special message for Comcast Xfinity subscribers who receive Yes with your cable package. You can now stream live Yankees games and more on the Gotham Sports app, included with your subscription. So download the app today or go to GothamSports.com to get streaming. Before we get you out to Sacramento, let's get your Kia key to the game.
Well, you're going to have to help me with my Kia key to the game. Aaron Judge has a homecoming going back to Sacramento. How far did he grow up away?
Linden, California, 54 miles away.
Well, you gave me the distance. I'm going to give you some of the numbers. 40 games against the A's, 40 RBIs, batting average well over 300, and 14 home runs. Another Judge homecoming. You expect him to have a big weekend in Sacramento.
I'll give you the distance. 430 feet on a home run. Nice. Shackle and Nelson coming up next.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Following a big walk-off win on Wednesday night in the Bronx, the Yankees have headed west. The first of two West Coast trips this month for the Bombers, and their first stop, Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. California state capital welcomes in the New York Yankees for the very first time. It's the Yankees and the Athletics in the first of three on Yes from Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Jeff Nelson, I'm Justin Shackle. So the Yankees are out west following their rubber game victory over the Padres. They win it 4-3 in walk-off fashion. Some are saying it's one of their best wins of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shaq. You know, especially against one of the best teams in baseball, the San Diego Padres, in that juggernaut in the NL West. Right there, Christian ties it up in the eighth inning. A big comeback win as well for the Yankees. And then how about Devin Williams? Did he need this out or not? Got himself in a jam, a bases-loaded jam. Huge strikeout to Bogarts in that inning. And then Escara, his first walk-off win. They win it in extras in the 10th inning. Big series win for the Yankees.
So one bench player ties it, another one wins it for the Yankees. Their second consecutive win when trailing in the 7th inning or later this season. And for Trent Grisham, the power surge continues in 2025. His 10th home run of the season after hitting 9 all of last year. Well, here we are, Sacramento. It's something that we've circled on our calendar, and the Yankees get ready to open up a series against the A's. And one of their young pillars, Tyler Soderstrom, he's been supplying some power as well.
They got a lot of good young studs in this lineup. Soderstrom, 23 years old, from the left side, a lot of power. The ball carries here at Sutter Health Park. There you see the bullpen. That's where the bullpens are, that little 4 or 5 foot wall out in right field. And it slides through that in the outfield as well to get to the wall quick. 9 home runs on the season. That's about third in baseball. You have Judge and Cal Raleigh at the top with 12.
A little caveat there, though, Nelly. Soderstrom's homerless over his last 19 games. There you see the split over the first 19, the damage he did there. He's hitting .264 over his last 19. He's also been a stronger hitter on the road than here at Sutter Health Park. Well, one person no stranger to Sacramento, Aaron Judge. He was born in California's capital city. You'll see Judge in right field and batting second when we come back. It's the Yankees and the A's on Yes. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at Genesis.com. By Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. By Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And by Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. Yankees and A's getting ready to go for 3 games this weekend in Sacramento, California. Sutter Health Park, capacity of just over 14,000. And there are some minor league elements for sure to this, including some nice seating on the lawn in right field. Let's take a look at the Yankees lineup here for game one. You have Grisham back in the leadoff spot. Aaron Judge batting second. Ben Rice hitting third. Goldschmidt, Dominguez, Volpe, J.C. Escara doing the catching tonight. Oswaldo Cabrera at third base. And Jorbit Vivas rounding it out as we are ready to go. Tall righty Oswaldo Bido on the mound, and let's play here in Sacramento. First pitch is a strike. And you see Trent Grisham tied the game with a 2-run homer late in Wednesday's win over the Padres. The pitch up and away.
Well, the numbers for Oswaldo. You see the ERA almost at 5. Doesn't strike out a lot of guys, does walk quite a few. Let's check out the Nissan pitchers scouting report. The patience at the plate for the Yankees. I mentioned the walks, 14 walks in those 36 and a third. Hunt the hard stuff. The two-seamer at 391 average against it. Even the cutter over 400.
Pitch is lifted foul down the left field line. And he's a 5-and-dive guy. Usually the Athletics, they don't like him to go that third time around the lineup. He's only been through 5 into the 6th inning, 3 out of his 7 starts. 90 pitches has been his max, usually about 75 to 80. Let's take a look at the Athletics defense. Starting in the infield, old friend Miguel Andujar at third, Wilson at short, Arias at second, Kurth at first. And then left to right in the outfield, Soderstrom, Bleday, and Butler. Shea Langoliers doing the catching. And that's one thing that stands out here, Nelly. A lot of homegrown talent, a lot of high-round draft picks for this A's team. 3-2. And he starts off Grisham with a walk.
Well, that's one thing Bido will do. He throws a lot of pitches per at-bat. He averages about 20 pitches per inning. That's why the pitch count gets up there in a hurry, and that's why you see him go 5, and they get him out of there.
There you see Aaron Judge stepping up to the plate, hitting 400, and his on-base streak snapped at 32 games after he went 0 for 4 in Wednesday's win over the Padres. And the pitch rifled deep into left field. Soderstrom turning, and it is off the wall. Grisham will head first to third, and Judge slides in safely with a double. It's the homecoming for the Yankee captain, born here in Sacramento, raised about an hour south, and he's put the Yankees in business here in the first.
Well, after a walk to Grisham, he sees a first pitch fastball. Here you see the movement. Started on the outside part of the plate, and he crushes this ball. It's a line drive off of the wall. It's an easy double. As you see, Soderstrom, the left fielder, he gets it in to the cutoff man. Grisham had a really good jump. And make sure that gets off the wall. He wasn't going to score and go first to home.
So early scoring opportunity for the Yankees. Here's Ben Rice. Pitch is in there for a strike. Rice went 0 for 4 on Wednesday. A lot of Yankee hitters didn't have too much luck at the plate for the majority of Wednesday's game against Dylan Cease, but it's how they were able to come alive late. Changeup in there for a strike.
Well, you got to hand it to the Yankees. What a series they played after losing 2 out of 3 over the weekend to the Rays, who play the Yankees really tough at Yankee Stadium. Padres, one of the best teams in baseball, especially in that National League out there in the West. I mean, it's a tough division, maybe the toughest division in baseball.
His pitch lifted into left. Soderstrom loses the hat, makes the catch. Grisham will stay put at third. So Bido retires his first batter. And Paul Goldschmidt will hit.
Well, that ball just wasn't deep enough. Soderstrom in left field, usually a first baseman, doesn't have a great arm out in left.
Time now for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, work the counts against Bido. He'll walk you, and he throws a lot of pitches per at-bat, as we saw in that Grisham at-bat. Power threats. Judge hit the one off the wall. You have Goldschmidt and also Rice. And what a relief. Well, it's going to come down to, I think, to the bullpens. You have 2 pitchers on both sides that are basically 5-inning guys.
Pitch, a comebacker tapped right to the mound. Bido will take the sure out at first as Grisham goes back to third. So Bido stares back Grisham. And now They're 2 away with runners at second and third for Jason Dominguez.
Well, Beto had Grisham. Watch Grisham go down the line. With one out, you usually go in contact. Now, he didn't go the whole way. There you see him hesitate. Grisham was caught in the middle. You probably could have gone to third to get him. Watch Grisham. You have him, you throw it, or you run at Grisham right away to try to get him to go back third. Once he goes, then you give it up.
Here's Dominguez. Scored that winning run on Wednesday. The Yankees did a really good job in that extra inning scenario with the ghost runner at second, just moving him on over. A sac bunt from Cabrera, and then the sac fly brought him in for the win. His pitch is hit foul.
It always helps when you don't score in the top half of the 10th.
David Williams coming up big time. Oof. Taking a look at our home plate umpire, Chris Guccione, and the umpire scouting report. Pretty hitter-friendly and a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Not ideal for the pitcher.
Dominguez chasing some high heat.
I find there's more hitter-friendly umpires around the league. I mean, where are the pitcher-friendly umpires? Everything's for the hitter. Umpires, ballparks.
You knew them on the back of your hand when you were playing.
I did, and you knew the ones that gave you some of the play. But back then, they had the umpires were you saw all four. Now they change so often. You know, you got to build a relationship with a lot of the crews in baseball. They didn't change much.
2-2 for Beto. Swing and a miss. Gets Dominguez to chase the cutter. Yankees with the first 2 on to start the game, and they come away without scoring a run. Bottom of the first coming up in West Sacramento. Well, the Yankees don't score on the top of the first. Time to take a look at the A's lineup here in the series opener. Jacob Wilson has been a hitting machine. The young shortstop leading off. Soderstrom batting second. Rooker the DH. Langoliers his cleanup. Then Blade and Duhar. Bottom third, Lawrence Butler, Luis Urias, and rookie Nick Kurtz.
Well, they're the numbers this year for Will Warren, making his 8th start. 5.65 ERA. You love the strikeouts, though. 34 in the 28 2/3. Well, let's check out the Nissan's pitchers. The scouting report. Attack the zone. Just like Beto, a lot of pitches in an inning and also per at bat. Cut that down. Avoid patterns. Every time he gets behind, he tends to get into a pattern, leaving a fastball out over the middle to hit. And cut out the free passes. Even though the strikeouts are great, the 15 walks in the 28 2/3 eliminate that, especially against the Athletics.
Gets a comebacker on the first pitch, and Warren retires Wilson. Let's take a look at the Yankees defense behind Will Warren here tonight. Left to right in the outfield, Dominguez, Grisham, and Judge. Then in the infield, Goldschmidt at first, Bibas at second, shortstop Anthony Volpe, Cabrera at third, J.C. Escara doing the catching for Will Warren. Aaron Boone saying that with an off day yesterday, as the pitch is swung on and missed by Soderstrom, a chance to give Austin Wells a pair of days off in a row. He'll also do the catching tomorrow, day game after a night.
Good fastball from Warren. 92 to 95, has that big sweeper, the changeup, and also the curveball. Doesn't throw the curveball a whole lot.
Soderstrom hitting 290. It's that one foul. And again, just off to a blazing start to the season. Not as productive over his last 19, but still doing a good job for this A's offense.
Yeah, let's keep that homerless streak at about 22, and then he could start it again after the Yankees get out of here. Just 19 games.
Yeah. 0-2. Swing and a miss. There's strike 3. Good curveball from Warren. 2 down.
Well, real nice breaking ball. After a couple really good fastballs away, he did go with the changeup down and away. I probably would have went a fastball again after the swing and miss, but that curveball down at the back leg of Soderstrom, that's nasty.
So here's Brent Rooker, the A's DH. been a big power threat the last couple of seasons. 5th in the majors in home runs since the start of 2024.
He's a guy, if you get ahead, you could really expand the zone with the breaking ball. Doesn't hit the curveball or the slider very well. With Warren against a righty, usually a lot of sweepers.
Hit hard on the ground to third. Cabrera. And a 1-2-3 inning for Will Warren. Very impressive by the Yankees rookie. End of 1. We're scoreless in West Sacramento. Start of the second scoreless game. Let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay. It's Jason Dominguez to record a hit, JC Escarra to record a run batted in, and Will Warren to record 5 or more strikeouts. It's Anthony Volpe. He went 0 for 4 in Wednesday's game. Conversation about this park, Jeff. Just is it pitcher friendly? Is it hitter friendly? It's such a small sample size, but so far the scale's definitely tipping in favor of the offenses.
Yeah, I was talking to Dallas Brayton, who I think this is the anniversary of his perfect game over there in Oakland. Talked to Steve Sachs a little bit. He does pre and post for the Athletics. Dallas Brayton was saying it's pretty much a hitter's park, that the ball tends to carry, and it's the way they cut the grass, and the ball really jets through or gets through the infield very quickly, and even in the outfield. So if that ball shoots in the gap, it'll get to the wall fast. And if it's a base hit right at the outfielder, the ball tends to snake. So the infielder and the outfielder really have to pay attention to the ground ball to make sure they don't lose that little snake when it goes out. Down the foul lines, the wind tends to blow it back into play.
Payoff. Lifted into left. Soderstrom. 1 away.
I would say it's probably a good series if you're a reliever to take a rest.
Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 91 degrees, and yes, it feels exactly like 91 degrees. It is hot here. Swing and a miss by Escarra.
It's only May. It's going to get triple digits in the summer.
Hey, Jeff, to your point about it being a little bit of a hitter's park right now, I spoke to former Yankee Luis Severino in their clubhouse earlier today, and he said this just is not a big league park. It blows out a lot to left field, and you really need to pay attention as a pitcher which way the wind is blowing out, because if you're not and trying to attack hitters accordingly, you could really get yourself in a tremendous amount of trouble out there. And also noteworthy, they did make a lot of changes here to the ballpark. There's going to be 150 games played here between the River Cats and the A's. They quadrupled the grounds crew to try to keep this place in tip-top shape as this season unfolds.
Well, you got to think when it's going to be about 100-some degrees here in the summertime, and they're going to wind up playing over 100 games by June.
That one lined into right field. Base hit for J.C. Escarra. A one-out single. Yeah, this is going to be a summer the grass is never going to forget.
It already looks a lot better than Oakland. Well, this is a changeup. Nice job staying down with that pitch. It was a changeup up, and that's what you want to try to do. Get Beto to elevate that pitch. He shoots it right past the second baseman, Urias.
So the Yankees with a runner on with 1 out against Beto. Here's Oswaldo Cabrera. Laid down a good sac bunt in that 10th inning on Wednesday to move Dominguez to third. He is hitting .247, hitless in his last 16 plate appearances. Taking a look at the dimensions for Sutter Health Park in its 25th season. 330 down the line and left, 325 in right, 403 to straightaway center field. 0-2. misses way inside.
I played in this park once, and it was either 01, 02, 03. We came, I don't know what year. I have no idea. But we came in here for a exhibition game. It used to be the A's AAA. And we came in against the big league A's team. We flew in, flew out. It was a day game, and I can remember the skies. It's a high sky, so tomorrow we'll see how it's going to play, and even Sunday with the high sky and the fly balls, the infielders and the outfielders.
And not too many clouds in Sacramento this weekend.
No. You know, and I wound up giving up a run there in that exhibition game, and I remember it perfectly because Brett Boone, Aaron Boone's brother, was the second baseman, and he's the one that missed the fly ball. Now the hitting
for the Texas Rangers. So you don't know what year that was?
No. It was one of those three.
Like 2001. I mean, a tough start in a minor league park to maybe a historic season for your Mariners.
Yes. A real good changeup from Beto. Even though it was elevated, it took enough off of that fastball. Fastball 93 to 95. That was 89 on that changeup.
Here's Bibas. And the first pitch, a slider from Beto.
I don't remember the years. I remember like things that happened. The years kind of like bunched together. Most of them.
Jeff highlighted the changeup from Beto. Had a strong start. Scuffled a bit here over his last 3 outings. ERA just under 7.5 in his last 3 starts. Bibas swings at ball 3. This place is filled up right at the start. They haven't sold out many of their games so far. They're averaging just under 10,000, but everybody says that this one will fill up this weekend. This pitch, the high fly ball down the left field line. It drops in front of Soderstrom. Escara goes first to third, running hard with 2 outs, and Bibas has himself a double with 2 away.
No, Soderstrom, not a great outfielder. In this ball, you'll see he'll take a couple steps back, and then all of a sudden he takes a really bad angle at the ball, comes up, lets that ball bounce in front. Instead of playing with a glove, he plays with his hand. I wonder if that'll go as a single and an error.
Yeah, did he touch it?
He did touch it with his hand. I was wondering if that's a straight up double, or is that going to be a single with an error?
So it probably would be a single and an error if he did touch it. Looked like he did.
Looks like they did put an error up there, so single and an error for Vivas.
So the Yankees have 2 in scoring position for the second straight inning. And it's back to Grisham. Misses with the slider. Grisham's power surge continuing on Wednesday. 6 home runs over his last 13 games. It is confirmed a single and an error on Soderstrom. Next pitch. Popped him up. Back up on the grass, Wilson. Called off by Bleday. The center fielder comes in to retire Grisham and the Yankees. Inning and a half in the books. Scoreless game in California. Time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Tonight's picture comes to us from Bill, who brought 5 of his grandkids to the stadium on Wednesday, and they got to see J.C. Escara walking off for the Yankees. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game.
Think they all stayed awake for the extra inning game?
I hope so. This is a school night. I hope they didn't leave early. Here's Shea Langoliers.
lot of sugar, cotton candy, soft drinks. Just fill them up. They'll stay up as late as you want.
I think they got everything they wanted at the ballpark that night, and it was encapsulated in that
great game
right there.
Yeah.
Langoliers hit 225 overall, under 200 against right-handers this season. Warren threw 7 pitches in the bottom of the first, retiring the A's in order. Just trying to take the baton and run with it after 3 really well-pitched games for Yankee starters. Fried on Wednesday. Schmidt went 6 innings back on Tuesday. Rodon 6 2/3 of scoreless pitching on Monday.
A couple of sweepers that were non-competitive, way outside. You opened up that front shoulder. If you're going to throw a fastball, make sure you get it away.
There's a 4-seamer right on the edge. And Langoliers swings and misses. Warren has his second strikeout.
Well, you pretty much knew Langoliers were sitting on red because the sliders or the sweeper was way off the plate. You weren't throwing that for a strike. You weren't going to go on a 3-2 count. Real good fastball at 95.
Here's J.J. Bleday. And Warren starts him off with a sweeper.
You know, it's funny with left-handed hitters when you're throwing a big sweeper that Warren has. You stay closed a little longer and you're able to throw that for strikes. Now against a righty like Langoliers, you saw him really open up, and that's one of the reasons why that ball went way outside. It wasn't even close to the plate. But lefties, if you did that, you're going to wind up hitting them. So you stay closed and you're able to pound the strike zone with it.
Warren quickly ahead of another batter. 0-2. Swing and a miss. There's a changeup to the outside against the lefty. 2 down. Here's the Mohegan Sun team scouting report for the Athletics.
Well, top 10 in a lot of offensive categories. 5th in average, 8th in home runs in MLB. They have a lot of good young stars. We talked about Soderstrom, Jacob Wilson, the leadoff hitter. He's an excellent shortstop. And Lawrence Butler struggled a little bit, but a good young star for the Athletics, and a difference a year makes. They're 20 and 18 second in that AL West. Last year they finished up at 69 and 93. They probably won't be doing that in 2025.
They're a team that's trending upward. They have the pillars. They also have had some nice performances from a supporting cast. That includes the likes of the guy in the batter's box, Miguel Andujar, former Yankee. Takes a look at a sinker outside, and Duhar has performed. Hit .320 in 97 at-bats. White hot recently here for the A's. He's earned more and more playing time. 1-1. Bounced on the ground. Diving stop by Goldschmidt. He'll take it himself. Pretty play for the Yankees first baseman. And because of that, Will Warren 6 up, 6 down. MLB's partnering with Crisis Text Line to increase mental health awareness. For free, 24/7 confidential support in English and Spanish. Text MLB to 741-741. Judge doubled off Beto in the first. And he's in front of a changeup there, 0-2. Swing and a miss. Beto pumped up after striking Judge out on 3 pitches.
Well, he wasn't afraid after giving a first pitch fastball double in that first at-bat in the first. He starts him out with a fastball, a changeup away, and then a slider away. You see it starts on the outside half and just expands away.
Bryce fouls off his first pitch. quickly 0-2. Everyone was making a big deal about the weather and how two teams were going to play simultaneously at one ballpark for this year between the A's and the Giants AAA team. Swing and a miss, and Vito has thrown 6 pitches to earn himself 2 outs. But it gets remarkably cooler once the sun sets. Yeah, the leader is brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. And there you see the changeup surge, Nelly.
Yeah, real good changeup. And it's the fastball and the cutter and that two-seamer where the averages creep up over 300. He's got the good slider. He'll throw that 21% of the time. You saw against Judge. Strikeout numbers aren't there. The walks are a little high. The 7 home runs and 36 in the third. That's the one place that the Athletics struggle in, is the pitching department.
Goldschmidt fouls off that pitch. Oh, well, right there, that spoiled the immaculate inning for Vito.
Could have had it, right? 9 pitches, 3 outs.
Hasn't thrown a ball here in the top of the third. Goldschmidt puts a swing and a charge into this one. Bleday moving back, and it is gone. A home run for Paul Goldschmidt. Going into straightaway center field off the batter's eye. The Yankees are ahead 1-0.
I guess that pretty much answers, is it a hitter's park or a pitcher's park? I would say a hitter's park. Well, Goldschmidt got an 0-2 slider and caught too much of the plate. Cement mixer, dead central.
Vito was so close to the immaculate inning, and then he gives up the run. The big home run. Take another look.
Well, right down the middle of the plate, that slider was. He had a good one against Judge, but not against Goldschmidt. It just gets over the center field wall.
This one by Dominguez sent high in the air. That's deep to right field. It is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Yankees. First Goldschmidt, now Dominguez. It is 2-0 Bombers.
Well, they've had traffic on the base pass the first 2 innings. They've left 4 on through the first 2. A little 2-out rally by the Yankees here. This was a changeup off of Vito. And he knew it. It was crushed over the Yankee bullpen.
So here's Anthony Volpe. Another look at that Dominguez home run. Continues to hit really well against right-handers. Batting average over 300 against righty pitching.
He was just sitting on that changeup. Real good balance, good timing with that leg kick from the left side.
One, 2. The Yankees lead baseball with home runs, 64 now. And a park like this, you have some other AAA parks. They belong in the Pacific Coast League, and that league has always been known as a hitter-friendly league.
Yeah, it's a homer league.
Stats.
A lot of it, I mean, you look, there's no third deck.
2-2. It's in there on the outside corner. Vito strikes out Volpe, but the Yankees go back-to-back with Goldschmidt and Dominguez. 2-0. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, by Mohegan Sun, something's always happening at Mohegan, and by Hyundai. For the brand new Hyundai, there is joy in every journey. Here you see Some terrific players along the historic stories of each of these franchises. But for the A's, it's their first season here in West Sacramento after being in Oakland, in Kansas City, in Philadelphia, now here in California State Capitol. It's only a pit stop, though. The plan is for Vegas in 2028. It's Lawrence Butler, one of the other young, promising cornerstones for this team.
And they even signed an extension. I think they have an extension in 2028 to play here, and just in case Vegas isn't ready. You know, earlier, Shaq, we were talking about there's no third deck. You know, so just like Tampa, you know, the Rays playing at Steinbrenner Field, the ball gets above the stadium a lot easier. If you have a third deck, it's not getting above the stadium very easy, and so it winds up holding the ball in the ballpark a little bit more. Now here, it doesn't.
Soft liner, and it's caught by Bibas on the dive. Good play from Bibas. Let's take a look at the timeline for the Athletics. Spent the first half of last century in Philadelphia, where they won 5 world titles, and then in Kansas City, the move to Oakland, 4 world titles, including 3 straight in the 70s. And again, this is expected to just be a pit stop on their way to Las Vegas. Luis Urias, Bibas takes care of him as well. 2 down.
Well, they were comparing those A's teams when they won 3 in a row in the 70s to the Yankees in 98, 99, and 2000. Also the Big Red Machine.
All right, which dynasty beats the other?
The 90s. The 98 team was the best team in history.
How'd I know you were going to say that?
Yes, there you see the 3 in a row. 72, 3, and 4.
Here's Nick Kurtz, rookie first baseman. This is his 14th start in the 16 games since he was called up. Just 22. Was the 4th overall pick in last year's draft. He's a big guy. 6'5", 240.
Very blessed. Not a whole lot of minor league time.
Well, he's getting some here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, now this is the Giants AAA, the River Cats. They used to be the A's before they moved to Vegas. The PCL.
It is big league debut on April 23rd. Hometown of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Played mostly first base. Only 32 games in the minors.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got drafted last year, so he through his college only played a couple months last year. Here you go, April 23rd in the big leagues.
Warren with a nice curveball. Kurtz down, swinging. Already the 6th strikeout. I beg your pardon, the 4th strikeout for Will Warren. 2-0 Yankees. We go to the 4th. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Now, DJ LeMahieu has been rehabbing with Scranton, but they just haven't played. Too much rain back home in the Northeast. First pitch. Escara to first, taken care by Nick Kurtz. And that possibly delayed LeMahieu's return from the injured list. He just needs to play. And Meredith, you were speaking with Aaron Boone about LeMahieu before.
Justin, there was some hope that maybe he would join the Yankees during this series, but it looks like it's more likely that it'll be Seattle if he can get in some games. But the Yankees are encouraged by what they've seen from him in the minors. He appears to be healthy. He's had some hits, and obviously you don't know how that's going to translate up here, but just him being healthy is a step in the right direction. But guys, when he does come back, the Yankees are going to have to make a move, and that's going to be a decision because there are not guys really with options that they can send back down, so they're likely going to have to designate somebody, and I'm sure they've been talking about exactly who is going to be the odd man out.
And most of his time has been at second base?
A lot at second base. He can play first and third as well, but you expect that he'll be primarily second base when he gets back up here.
Cabrera swings over a slider. Obviously, the injury to Jazz Chisholm Jr. changed that equation with LeMahieu.
Originally, he had been playing a lot of third base, and that was the thought. But when Jazz was injured for what seems like it's going to be quite a bit of time here, they decided to change course a little bit in where they were going to put him.
Swing and a miss. Cabrera chases the heater.
Well, good fastball upstairs after a previous pitch of the changeup at 89. He throws a 96-mile-an-hour heater up in the zone, changing the eye level.
Here's Bibas, singled and took second on an error by Soderstrom back in the second. Yankees lead at 2-0. Back-to-back home runs by Goldschmidt and Dominguez in the third. Time called by Bibas.
You know, there was a situation right there. You could have let, if you're Bibas, you could have let that time clock go all the way down with all the shakes from Beto. He just didn't like what Langoliers was throwing down. You didn't need to waste your time out there.
1-1 fouled off.
Now, if you're Bibas, you have the heater at 96, so look for something off speed. Maybe that change up down and away. Go the other way like you did that first at bat.
Rifled right to third, and Andujar grabs it. Makes the play. Side retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left to the fourth. The bottom of the fourth. Yanks up 2. Let's take a look at the pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, Will Warren, he's really come out hot tonight. A good curveball, 2 strikeouts on that curveball. The fastball's been outstanding. I absolutely love how he's been able to command that. I think, in my opinion, maybe the best he's looked all year right here in the first 3 innings.
So 9 up, 9 down. It's been really economical. It is something that was underscored by Aaron Boone before the game. The message, because Warren's throwing a lot of pitches per inning, but Boone says don't think about being economical, just be effective.
Yeah, you want to try to throw the least amount of pitches per at bat, get outs quick, whether it's 3, 4, 5 pitches. You want to average about 12 to 15 pitches per inning. You know, out of his 7 starts, he's only gone 5 innings 3 times.
Wilson doesn't chase the sweeper.
His last outing, 102 pitches. That's the most he's thrown this year.
Now, what are you wanting to see here second time through the lineup?
Well, the hitters will make you adjust.
Hard liner on one, hop to Bibas. Wilson retired.
You still have to read swings, and hopefully Escara back to behind the plate is helping him out. You know, if they're looking really poorly on the breaking ball, sometimes you might want to stay with that pitch instead of mixing it up a little bit. He's done an outstanding job of spotting his fastball. Maybe instead of constantly going away that second time around the lineup, maybe you want to show him just a little bit inside.
Tyler Soderstrom, his second plate appearance, struck out against Warren back in the first.
When you're throwing like he is right now, you should really feel in that good rhythm, like you're just getting right on top of that rubber and you're just firing the ball and everything is just nice and smooth. The mechanics are really nice and smooth and everything is down in the zone and you're doing everything you can to spot that pitch and get ahead. And so far, that's what he's done. He's gotten behind here 2-0.
Let's see if Warren can battle back. His first 3-ball count of the night.
And that's what's odd to me, you know, with his delivery. You know, he starts in that stretch position and you watch that front foot. You saw it in that graphic before. He'll step forward.
Lifted foul.
and then all of a sudden start his windup. Usually guys from the stretch position, and even when they have that abbreviated windup, they'll take that front foot and they'll step towards the rubber instead of away. You watch right here. Watch that front foot, how he moves that towards the plate. There, see that? He just cocks his ankle or that foot a little bit.
Almost with his heel.
Yeah.
Turning his heel a little bit.
And a lot of times you want to step closer to the rubber. Now see, he'll go and he'll step forward. Now sometimes this is really difficult to be able to stay over top of the rubber. So what I'm saying, when you go towards the rubber, that helps you stay back. And it's just something that he does.
3-2. And it's a curveball for ball 4. So Soderstrom draws a 1-out walk. And that is the first base runner allowed by Will Warren tonight. Here's Brent Rooker. He's looked at as their offensive centerpiece. He's the veteran on this team, the DH now, after they have a lot of young talent in their outfield. And he hits this one hard on the ground into left field, base hit. Soderstrom goes to second. A's have 2 on with 1 away.
Well, first pitch sinker. There you see the movement. It's down and in. Not a bad pitch. If you want to come in, he started that out over the middle of the plate. Maybe you could start it on the inside half and then he sink it down the back leg of Rooker.
Here's Shea Langoliers, struck out back in the second. Yanks are up 2-0. The A's with runners on for the first time tonight. See if Warren can pitch himself out of trouble. Both of these teams with a day off yesterday. The A's just wrapping up a stretch where they played 16 games in 16 days. Day waits on deck. Warren to the plate.
That pitch right there, Shaq, that's where you want it. It's a good two-seamer after fastballs away, 2 fastballs away that you missed. You got 1 for a strike, so you have 1-1 count. And now you have that ability to go back away. I love how that two-seamer came in. You know, it started on that inside half, and then it really jammed Langoliers. He had no chance to try to put that ball in play, and now that sets up the outside half. I don't care if he's looking for it outside or not. You automatically open up. You have him thinking about that inside pitch.
Descara sets up outside, and the sweeper misses low.
And that two-seamer, if anything, it teaches Will Warren. It shows you that, hey, I got confidence that I can get in there. And that's what I think everyone should do. You know, you don't see a lot of pitchers throw inside a whole bunch. That's kind of a lost art. But when you throw inside, and that moving fastball that he has, it moves a lot at 94, 95.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Langoliers. And it is in there, called strike 3. Warren bounces back. An important strikeout. Let's take a look at Will Warren's arsenal using StatCast 3D.
Well, you like to see the 4-seamer a little bit higher and look at the average against the 4-seamer. Now, I take the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer. They're fastballs. You know, they're over 50%. That's what you like to see. The sweeper at 25, then he has a changeup. He did mix in a curveball a couple times, so I got a couple key strikeouts on that pitch.
Ground ball weight rate for Will Warren, tied for 6th in the American League. And he paints the lower half of the strike zone with a 4-seamer to J.J. Bleday, struck out back in the second. Warren was terrific the first 3 innings. Here he's pitching with 2 on and 2 out. The good changeup there in the dirt. That was the early message for Will Warren so far this season. Limit the walks, be more economical. See if he can fight out of trouble. Ahead 0-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Air strike 3. The changeup gets Blade. Warren gets himself out of the jam. We go to the 5th. Yanks in front. The 6th Yankees strikeout is brought to you by Audi in the 2025 Audi Q6. Visit your local tri-state Audi dealer today. Nice way to wiggle out of the jam by Will Warren. Here's Trent Grisham against Oswaldo Bido.
That changeup was filthy.
You know, he got out of that jam in style.
He did, and that shows what kind of stuff he has. You know, the Yankees have always known that he's had great stuff. You know, he's a young pitcher trying to put it together. Sometimes getting a few jams, and just like that jam with 1 out, 1st and 2nd, it could have blown up on you. And a couple of key strikeouts to get out of that inning.
Infield pulled to the right for Grisham. This one back to the net. All right, give us your scouting report on the sight line here and our chances of getting a foul ball in this minor league.
You know, the net behind the plate, it's pretty high. During batting practice, well, they had a live session. One of the pitchers for the Athletics had a live session when he was facing hitters. I'm sure it was a starter getting the side session in between starts. There you see where we are. But that net, it goes really, it's up there. There you can see it. It's going to have to get one of that top spin or back spin to get it down where we are. I don't think it's coming in here.
Three and 2 on Grisham. So there's no third deck, obviously, in a minor league park. There also aren't as many player amenities as we would see in big league parks. Grisham draws a walk. Let's take a look at the Varzinga hitter scouting report.
Yeah, who doesn't he? Who doesn't he do well against? 308, 14 homers, 40 RBIs, and you count that double he had in that first inning against the Athletics. This is familiar territory. Played in college here, Fresno State, back in 2013 at Sutter Health Park. And I thought he was going to go deep in that first inning, but yes, he will. I think he will go deep in this game.
Linden, California, about an hour's drive south of Sacramento. So this is the closest Aaron Judge is playing to his hometown in the big leagues. 1-0.
And he was a fan of the Giants and the A's back then.
Take a look at the journey from Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento to Linden, California. 45-mile drive.
Now, is that a highway? Because it looks like you're going right over the mountains. Well, you have a helicopter?
Pretty sure you have to take an interstate.
All right. I mean, it didn't look like a road there. It looked like we're climbing mountains, coming down through the valleys, over rivers.
I'm sure you'll cross those things, but I think there's an interstate in between Sacramento and Linden. I mean, you have to cross the Sacramento River to just get out of this facility.
So if you actually drove on a road, it might take you about an hour. A little less time if you...
Can't get any straighter than that.
Well, it's because you're going over mountain ranges.
Swings over a changeup. It's 3-2. Never forget a couple of years ago when the Yankees were at the Coliseum. A crate of cherries came in to the Yankee clubhouse from Linden, California. And they were giving them away to the broadcasters even. They were really good. 3-2. Hit in the air. right field. Butler coming on, makes the catch on the slide. And moving back to first base is Grisham. Those cherries could have been good luck because that was the night Domingo Germán threw a perfect game.
Right, I didn't get any of those cherries, by the way. Nice catch by Butler there and right. The sinking liner just off the end of Judge's bat. Two-seam fastball from Beto.
Here's Rice. Struck out back in the third. Flew out to left in the first. You know what else we get with no third deck in this ballpark? We get the authentic grill smoke coming from the berm and down the right field line as well.
Absolutely love this. This is Arizona spring training when you have the outfield is nothing but fans. They don't have stands in Arizona.
Roped back up the middle by Ben Rice. Up to second goes Trent Grisham. A hard hit single for Ben Rice. 2 on with 1 out.
Oh, first pitch fastball. Nice job going right back up the middle. A little 2-out rally. Again, the Yankees have traffic on the base paths. Yeah, Arizona spring training, nothing but fans in the outfield. They don't have stands, and not like Florida, where most of the times they don't have anything over the outfield walls. But the fans here, I think the tickets were going like $65, $70 on the grass.
This is that game day grill I read on that truck. All right. Here's Goldschmidt. Started the scoring with a home run off the batter's eye in center field in the third. Yankees went back to back. Goldie and Dominguez. You have that seating in right field, the grassy berm. In left field, it's all clubhouse. It's all the 2 clubhouse structures for these teams. 0-1. Smacked high in the air, left field. Blade moving on. He dives, and he made the catch. No, did he not? He trapped it. Grisham's going to score from second, and they're going to throw it back to second, and he is out. Grisham is out.
The Shackford third base umpire, Tom Hanahan, he called him. He raised his arm, and let's see if he makes this catch.
He did not.
He did not. The umpires are going to gather together. Now, Hanahan, the third base umpire, he puts up the out sign right away. That was a heck of an effort. You could see there, he easily trapped it.
So Grisham had to have seen that the ball did drop, and he made a break for home.
You know, the umpires are gathered together around the mound, and they just showed the replay up on the big board. So I don't know what they're thinking here. I don't know if they're discussing where the runners, because Grisham easily scores on that because he's going and reads it well.
I don't believe Rice didn't venture past first base. So yeah, it's a matter of where Grisham would go.
Well, Grisham,
did he score? Or will he place it third?
Well, Grisham goes right away, so you automatically got to think that he's scoring.
Right.
Now, the only thing now with Rice, is this a force out? Did Rice get to second? If Rice didn't get to second, it may be a force out at second base. And then that wouldn't be a base hit, but Grisham would score.
So Grisham took off. The question is whether Rice will remain at second base or be out on the force. Let's take another look.
Let's see where Ben Rice wound up. Now you see Blade, he makes that diving stab. Now, Rice never went and touched second, so this could be the problem here, that he may think that he caught the ball because the umpire called him out.
The ball was not caught in the outfield. So no catch. We will place the runners at first, second, and third. New York is challenging the placement of runners.
Yeah, that's a tough break for the Yankees with where Trent Grisham is placed, because he did what he was supposed to do, just kept running.
Right, I can't see how they're going to put Grisham back at third because he's going to score. That should be a run for the Yankees. The one thing that challenging this with the placement of the runners. Now you watch Ben Rice. You can watch Grisham here. He got Baudet. As soon as he sees it, he's off. Now the third base umpire, you can see Hanahan with that arm up in the air calling him out. But Ben Rice did not go and touch second. I think Grisham scores on this. I just don't see how you put Ben Rice on second when he never touched the base, and it would have been a force out there.
Grisham doesn't see how he has to go back out in the field to third base.
I agree.
Grisham staying put in the dugout for now. And it doesn't look like they're going to count that run crossing home plate. Aaron Boone justifiably upset here. I mean, if you strip it all down and you just ask the question, what did Trent Grisham fail to do on that play? Nothing.
He did everything right.
Exactly.
He did everything right. Watched the ball drop. He easily saw that, and then he goes and he scores on the play.
Since the play was overturned on the field, the placement of runners is non-reviewable. The runners will be placed at first, second, and third. New York will retain their challenge.
Well, Chris Guccione making that ruling, so Grisham will be forced to go back to third. And Aaron Boone visibly upset.
Yeah, I agree with Booney there. I don't see how Grisham doesn't score. The only problem or the only issue is maybe they caught a break there by not having that force out at second base, because Ben Rice didn't go to second thinking that that ball was caught.
So there's a visit on the mound now, and Aaron Boone wanting further explanation from Guccione. That's a tough one. Well, the Yankees do have the bases loaded. There's one away, and here's Dominguez, homered in his last at-bat. Pitch. Hit out his third of the season. Grisham at third, Rice at second, Goldschmidt at first. Goldschmidt on with his second hit of the night. Lifted high in the air, down the line and left. Moving back, Soderstrom takes him to the warning track. It'll be plenty deep for Grisham to now cross home plate. So he tags on the sac fly by Jason Dominguez, and it is now 3-0 Yankees.
Oh, a nice at-bat by Dominguez. All he needed to do was get something up in the zone and get it in the air.
So a sac fly for Dominguez. Runners at first and second, 2 away for Anthony Volpe. Chop to short. Wilson in time. And the side retired. Yankees do get one. They strand a pair. Middle of the 5th, 3-0. Hey fans, we have a special message for Comcast Xfinity subscribers who receive Yes with your cable package. You can now stream live Yankees games and more on the Gotham Sports app, included with your subscription. So download the app today or go to gothamsports.com to get streaming. Yankees in front, 3-0. Will Warren back to work after they added on another run in the top of the 5th. Here's Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, Bleday in the dugout looking at his dive, seeing how close he was to that ball out in left center field.
Now more on that play. The rule book states in section 802, section C, if you were wondering, Nelly. The placement of runners following calls of obstruction, detached equipment, and crew consultations is part of the list of non-reviewable play types.
I thought that was section 3. It was section 2?
Yeah, section 2.
That's where I had it wrong.
And Duhar pops it up.
I got it!
Bibas, one away. Here's Lawrence Butler. Struggling lately, 2 for his last 15. At least a strikeout in each of the last 17 games. It's a big piece of their present and their future, though. Rocks this one into center. Grisham tracking it down, no problem. 2 away. That ball hit hard off the bat, but Grisham makes it look so easy with the routes he takes in center field. Grisham in center tonight. A night off for Cody Bellinger, just part of the outfield rotation that is ongoing for Aaron Boone and the Yankees. Yeah, a little surprised that Bellinger wasn't in the lineup.
Me as well.
Went 4 for 11 in the Padres series. Maybe starting to really heat up.
Yeah, his last 12, 286 with 3 homers, 8 RBIs. Gets a couple days off. I was a little surprised.
Warren ahead on Arias, the number 8 hitter. Two out, nobody on, 3-0 Yankees. One, 2. Again in the air to center. Grisham, no problem once again. Will Warren's retired 15 of the last 17. Get it, Cap.
Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Red Sox and Royals, extra innings, tied at 1, bottom of the 12th. Freddie Fermin gaps 1 to left center. Michael Massey scores. At your ball game, KC wins it 2-1. The Royals have won 7 straight and 16 of their last 18. They are on a roll. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Let's go around the majors, and we start with that story with the Red Sox. They are in Kansas City to face the Royals. Rafael Devers refused to play first base after being asked. The Pirates dismissed manager Derek Shelton after a 12-26 starts, and the Tigers tied with the Dodgers for the top record at 25-13 on the season. Take a look at this play in center. Is this a catch by Grisham?
A little highlight there. Here you go. Just tossing it over to Judge.
Marcotte didn't agree with the style in which that ball was captured.
Well, Mark Kotsay did that all the time in the outfield.
Really good ball player. 17-year big league career. J.C. Escarra. What do you think about that situation with Rafael Devers? I mean, in spring training, he was asked to really buy into the DH role, and now that Tristan Casas goes down at first base, they're asking him to go play first for the first time.
Well, when you go out and you knew you were going to go out and sign Bregman, you figured. I think you feel for both sides. I think you feel for the organization. You feel for Devers. I don't know if it was handled properly by the Red Sox as far as the communication. Devers isn't a great third baseman. You went out and signed a great third baseman in Bregman. And now with Casas out for the whole year, I think it's about being a team player, right? I mean, what can I do to help this team win?
And Casas is going to be done for the season with a patellar injury. A tough spot for the player, but from a team aspect, probably not what his teammates wanted to hear. But like you mentioned, the front office, 2-2. Maybe could have done a better job being more transparent with Rafael Devers with what they've been trying and what they were trying to do in the offseason.
Well, he obviously didn't like getting taken off of third base. Once you signed Bregman, you weren't a third baseman anymore. And defensively, it was better for the club.
And those comments from Devers became such a hot button topic in Boston that a lot of team brass, John Henry, the owner, Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow, they flew to Kansas City to meet about that situation. And Devers spoke directly with John Henry. 3-2. Slice down the line and left. That drops in for a base hit. Hard turn by Escarra. Here comes the throw from Soderstrom. And Escarra is in there with a leadoff double. Second hit of the night for the Yankee catcher.
Well, really good hustle. This is a two-seamer down and away. Little half swing. He just serves it into left field. And now it shoots towards that left field line. Good hustle getting in there for a double.
Third double of the season for Escarra. And here's Oswaldo Cabrera.
Thinking two all the way.
Getting the uni derby. Driving the bus. You can take a bus here. At our hotel, they're offering the opportunity to drive a golf cart to the ballpark.
You driving one, or they drive you?
I think you can get behind the wheel and drive it. No? So you have to be part of hotel staff? Okay.
I think you can walk, too. Isn't it? 15, 20-minute walk?
Right over the bridge. Cabrera stayed back, according to Tom Hanahan. So there'll be 81 A's games in this facility, 69 Sacramento River Cats games. Counts to first. Beto is there, taking it from Kurtz. To third goes Escarra.
That's a good AB from Cabrera, moving the runner over to third. He got a slider down and in, and that's exactly what you wanted to do. Hit it to the right side of that infield. This looks like it might be it as Kotsay makes his way to the mound for Beto.
So a pitching change for the A's. Beto exits. Bibas coming to hit.
it's time for Name That Yankee, brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. This is a 9, Nelly, a 9.
It took me a little bit after 96. I had to go through the roster and finally figure out who this was.
Do you feel bad about yourself when you don't get a teammate on Name That Yankee?
I guess. But I didn't know their stats.
Grounded to first. Kurtz takes it. And staying put at third base is J.C. Escarra. And you see Beto on the line for that runner at third, with the lefty Hogan Harris now on the mound. See the work he's done.
Yeah, good ERA. Fastball 92 to 93 has changeup, curveball.
Yankees with a runner at third, 2 outs. Grisham at the plate. 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. Yankees so far 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And that lone hit was the play where Grisham was sent back to third base. Escarra doubled to start the frame. Harris ahead, 1-2. Harris, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen for the Athletics. Infield pull to the right, 1-2. Try to fool him with a breaking ball. Grisham stays alive. Two. Just tapped foul. Hey fans, go to Yes Network on X and vote for the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week. Is it Trent Grisham, Austin Wells, or Max Fried? One, two. Roll to second on a backhand and under the glove of Arias. It allows Escarra to score from third. Well, the A's had a chance to get out of the inning, but Arias lets it slip by, and it is 4-0 Yankees.
Well, real nice at bat from Grisham. Fouled off some nasty breaking balls. It just gets under his glove. You see Arias, he just did not play that properly. That ball should have been made, or that play should have been made.
Judge, deep into left. Way back, Soderstrom at the wall, leaps, and he makes the catch in front of the wall. Didn't get all of it. As the captain of the Yankees are retired, they do score. Fans, one of the most highly anticipated Subway series in years gets underway next weekend in the Bronx, and it all starts on Yes. Special extended pregame coverage begins next Friday at 5:30 with first pitch scheduled for shortly after 7 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Shaping up to be a good one. Yankees doing well, Mets doing well, Knicks doing well. Good springtime in the city.
Game 3 tomorrow night for the Knicks after stealing 2 in Boston. How about that?
This one sent in the air by Kurtz into right center, and it's off the wall in right center. Kurtz hustles in with a leadoff double. It's the first hard hit allowed by Will Warren.
Well, it was a sweeper. There you see how it's going to get out over the middle of the zone. And he hits it in the right center field gap. stay back on that breaking ball. Good swing. He is a big dude there.
And the Yankee bullpen starting to get busy. Top of the A's lineup coming to the plate. Jacob Wilson, 0 for 2.
Well, it's the third time around the lineup for Will Warren, a .364 average against. He only has 13 plate appearances against him in that third time around.
Roll to short. Volpe. One away. Pitch count still terrific for Will Warren. So the Yankees want to see again how he operates with a runner in scoring position. Third time through, like you mentioned.
Well, 59 pitches. That's outstanding going into the 6th inning. He's tied a career high in innings with 5 1/3. His very first big league start, he went 5 1/3.
Sutter was the first A's hitter to reach tonight. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Friday night in West Sacramento. This place is full. The pitch is low. It's expected to be full tomorrow and Sunday as well.
I think I heard the Cubs, when they played here, they got close to a sellout. It's going to be nothing like what they're going to get this weekend as the Yankees are coming in and playing against the Athletics.
Certainly an adjustment for a big league team and, well, any visiting team, because they don't have all the bells and whistles and a pitch clock violation on Will Warren that you would see around normal big league parks, right, Meredith?
Well, Justin, in the 5th inning, you saw Austin Wells and Cody Bellinger walking in from left center field because that's where the cage is. That's where they were preparing for the game. When I spoke to Austin Wells earlier today, he said that was his plan. He'd get in the dugout by the 5th inning unless they needed him before that. And then after that,
pitch is sailed in the air to left, and Dominguez is there.
If he needed to do any additional lunges, stretching, any of it would be happening right there in that Yankees dugout. But I don't know if you noticed throughout the first couple of innings, at times it was actually Ben Rice going out to warm up Will Warren when J.C. Escarra was putting his pads on. Little different. And for starting pitchers, Justin, they can't go into the clubhouse in between innings, which is a big change for a lot of them.
Right. They're staying on the bench. They got to watch all 9.
And forget about taking some swings late in the game in a cage before a pinch hit appearance. There they are, walking with Casey Dykes.
Yeah, maybe you have a new reliever come in a late game situation. You can automatically go down below behind the dugout. Usually teams have their hitting cage there and maybe hit off a high velocity traject machine, try and simulate the experience. You don't have any of that here.
No, that's a long walk from left center field as well.
I also wonder, guys, if there's an argument between a manager and an umpire and it ends poorly for the manager, that is a long walk out to left center field.
Talk about walk of shame.
Ouch.
Here's Brent Rooker with 2 outs. Let's take a look at the Old Spice fresh stats for Will Warren. 5 2/3 innings tonight, a new career high. Trying to get the final out here in the bottom of the 6th. Pitch.
Well, they had Matt Blake go out and talk to him after he got Soderstrom flying out to left. I was surprised that he went out, maybe just to give the bullpen a little time to warm up, but he did such a rhythm. You don't want to break it. He's pitched outstanding tonight.
Staying back on the sweeper. Langoliers waits on deck, another right-hander. Swung right through that sweeper.
That's nasty, and you can just stay with that pitch. It's a pitch that really gives Rooker a hard time. And that pitch away You can expand the zone. Don't overthrow it. You don't have to throw anything better than that last sweeper.
Pitch. On the outside corner, called strike 3. Rooker froze it in the box as Warren pitches 6 complete. 4-0 Yanks. Let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam with Will Warren.
Well, his best start of his career. 6 innings is a career high in innings. He had everything working. I love the command of his fastball. 94, and we saw 96 tonight. The breaking ball away, that sweeper, that just ended the 6th inning. He got out of jams in the 4th and also got out of that jam in the 6th with a leadoff double from Kurtz.
Here's Ben Rice. Warren, 6 scoreless innings so far, 7 strikeouts. He's only allowed a walk and 2 hits, and his pitch count's at 67. Yankees had back-to-back homers in the 3rd. Goldschmidt and Dominguez going yard. He scored another run in the 5th. A sac fly from Dominguez and an RBI single by Trent Grisham. Ball that got past second baseman Luis Urias. They ruled it a hit. An RBI. Rolled to Andujar. Third baseman makes the play. Time now for the Audi electric moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today. And 2 early bombs back to back.
Yeah, in the 3rd inning, Shaq. Couple off-speed pitches from Vito Goldschmidt and then Dominguez.
Goldschmidt with 2 hits now tonight. Look at that average. 348. I was asking Aaron Boone a couple of weeks ago after the first full month of the season. Anything about Goldschmidt exceed your expectations? Because he had been hitting so well for contact and for average. And he just talked about how he knew that this was the type of player that Goldschmidt was in terms of constantly giving the tough at bat, no matter the situation. And it just so happens that the contact and the success rate has obviously skyrocketed to start 2025. Swings and misses through that changeup, though. 2 away. Taking a look at the Papa John's key ingredients. Jason Dominguez with his first home run since April 21st. It came in the 3rd. This one sent high in the air to left center field, and that's gone. Dominguez with his 2nd home run since April 23rd. A 2-homer game for the Yankees left fielder, and it's 5-0 Yanks.
A couple of runs from the Yankees with 2 outs. Those 2 home runs in the 3rd came with 2 outs. And then again here in the 7th by Dominguez. What a night he's had.
Home run number 4 for Dominguez. And it's 5-zip. Volpe smacks that back up the middle. Well, the Yankees with some hard 2-out hits against Hogan Harris.
Well, from Harris, first pitch curveball. Look how he just stays back. He keeps that leg. He has that high leg kick from both sides of the plate. This just keeps carrying out to left center field.
It's the first career multi-homer game for Jason Dominguez. Escara, he doubled back in the 6th. 2-hit night for the Yankee catcher.
getting the start of the series opener. A lefty-on-lefty matchup here. And one of the nice signs that happened in that Padres series where the Yankees scored the 10 runs in that 7th inning. So much of the damage was lefty-lefty success. So after getting the first 2 outs, Harris has surrendered a solo home run, a hard hit single, and now a walk. Here comes Scott Emerson, the A's pitching coach.
Well, the Athletic starters 25th in baseball with a 4.41. Their relievers is 21st in baseball at a 4.54 ERA. They walk a lot of guys. They're second, their relievers are, that bullpen, in walks. They do have some swing and misses. Hit the strikeout, but they put a lot of guys on via walk.
Here's Cabrera, 0 for 3. Volpe on at second base. Escara at first. Yanks up 5-zip, looking for more. Runners go. Pitch is a ball. Throw to third. Not in time. Double steal.
Well, the Yankees taking advantage of a struggling Harris on the mound. Not paying attention to the runners, and with 2 outs, you better be sure that you're going to make it to third. A good heads-up play.
Volpe with his 6th stolen base. Escara with his 1st. One other thing about that Dominguez homer is his 1st from the right side. Langoliers throws to first to complete the strikeout. Inning comes to a close. The Martian goes deep for the 2nd time tonight. 5-0 Yankees.
Time for your Ford Studio update. Bob and Flash with you. And pitch efficiency, the name of the game for Will Warren tonight.
Bob, we talked on our pregame show that it's about time in his 8th big league start that you needed to see a little bit more from Will Warren. You need to see more length. He got through 6 shutout innings, a career high for him. We've loved his swing and miss stuff all year. 7 strikeouts tonight, no runs on the board. Best big league start so far.
No doubt. Let's see where it goes from here. And we will see you on the W.B. Mason postgame later on, fellas.
Thank you, Bob and Flash. Yankees in front 5-0 as we take a look at the game summary. Jason Dominguez with his first career multi-home run game. Will Warren has tossed 6 scoreless innings with 7 strikeouts. But a big night for that young man right there. A home run from the left side, a home run from the right side. 5-0 Yankees here in Sacramento. That's an important note for sure.
Yeah, you love to see that. You know, not too often does a hitter, especially a switch hitter, hit home run from both sides.
Now he gets some run with the glove. And Dominguez puts away Langoliers. You see Mark Leiter Jr. warming up in the bullpen.
Well, 69 pitches, and Warren's cruising. With that 5-0 lead, it allows him to go back out there. Probably go hitter to hitter. Heck, if he goes and has a clean inning, a quick inning here in the 7th, I wonder if he goes out for the 8th.
He's fanned Blade twice tonight. Inside. The Yankees are 2-5 in Warren's 7 starts this season. Obviously, this one tonight has been his best. They certainly need their 4th starter to step up here. Pitch is in there for a strike. Still no word on who will fill the 5th starter role on Sunday in the finale.
Well, Rodon could have easily been pushed back because of the off day, but they'll count that as one of Rodon's days.
Popped him up. Goldschmidt. 2 away.
Rodon started on Monday. 5 days will be Saturday.
Let's have a look at the Yankees bullpen budget, brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Off day yesterday is the key. Know the work that Weaver, Williams, and Hamilton did in the rubber game against the Padres. Pretty good shape.
Well, you love a start like this, especially opening up a West Coast trip. It allows that bullpen to get another extra day of rest.
That pitch rolled foul. Just went foul off the bat of Van Duhar.
The Yankees don't get another off day till next Thursday.
You have 3 here this weekend in Sacramento. Then they're in Seattle for the start of a 3-game set on Monday. This is the first of 2 trips out west this month.
And then they'll be done. Besides going out to Texas, they won't see another West Coast trip at all for the rest of the year.
How huge is that?
That's huge because it's tough going out and playing on the West Coast anyway, just the time changes and, you know, now playing in a ballpark that you're not used to playing. You wrap that up after Denver, LA, or Anaheim, and then playing the Dodgers over that weekend. And then you're done. Easy trips from them. We saw that graphic with pitches per inning, that 4th inning where he threw 19. Other than that, everything was 11 and under.
Fools Andujar with the heater. 7 in the first, 11 in the second, 10 in the third. You mentioned the 19 in inning number 4. 8 in the 5th. It's been a terrific night for Will Warren. Saying, you wanted to be more economical? You got it.
Well, one of the things we talked about early was attacking the zone. That was one of the scouting reports, and that's exactly what he has done. He's got a great fastball, and you command that early. That sweeper comes off of it.
Another pitch clock violation on Will Warren. Two out, nobody on, 5-0 Yankees, bottom 7. The pitch. And Duhar doesn't chase. Payoff. Lifted in the air, left field, racing out Volpe, called off by Dominguez, who makes the catch. Will Warren retires the side in order here in the 7th. 5-0 Yanks. Fans, stay tuned tonight after Yankees coverage for the best of Talkin' Yanks, presented by your local Ford stores, and get the top talking points from this week in Yankees universe. That's tonight after the postgame on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Yankees up 5-0. Jorge Vivas to start off the 8th inning against Hogan Harris. You go batter to batter here, moving forward?
I think you leave him in. I mean, you're saving your bullpen. It's 5-0. He's been cruising. Only a couple stressful innings, really. 79 pitches.
Bullpen quiet for now. Rocked down the right field line. That's a base hit. Could be more for Bibas. Turn it on the Jets. Butler's throw to second. And Bibas in there safely with a leadoff double. Second hit of the night for Jorby Bibas.
Well, he got a hanging breaking ball from Harris. He stayed back, went down and got it, and he smokes it down the right field line. And once he sees that get down the line, he's thinking 2 all the way. He doesn't even slow up. He had Butler playing more towards right center field. Real nice swing there. Stays back on that breaking ball. Good hustle.
Yanks with a runner in scoring position for the top of the lineup. Here's Grisham. In there for a strike. Sent high in the air, left center field. Blade makes the catch. Here's Judge. His 5th trip to the plate tonight. And well, it won't last all that long. An intentional walk to the captain.
Well, even down 5-0, they're still thinking left on left, trying to get a double play.
So it'll be Rice. Rice is 1 for 4, singled back in the 5th inning. Yankees going for a 3rd straight win. They're up 5-0 here. There's a strike. Bibas at second. Judge over at first. 1-2. Just misses. You know, it's good to see the A's took the elephant off their uniforms, but it's good to see that the mascot is still here. The elephant's in the ballpark. Ripped into left field, base hit for Rice. Bibas gets the wave around as that ball gets away from Soderstrom in left. Bibas scores, Judge to third. It's an RBI for Ben Rice, and the Yankees increase their lead at 6-0.
Well, sometimes you take it personal when they intentionally walk a hitter ahead of you. Gets a fastball in the outside corner, doesn't try to pull it, goes the other way. You see the third baseman Andahar playing more towards the shortstop position. And Bibas was going to score anyway.
A's make a pitching change as the Yankees get a run. They're threatening for more. We'll be back after this. Fans, this year marks Yogi Berra's 100th birthday, and the Yankees have a special giveaway to help commemorate it. And it's on Friday, June 6th. The first 18,000 guests will receive a special Yogi Berra U.S. Navy bobblehead that recognizes his military service, courtesy of State Farm. Tickets are going fast, so get your tickets today at Yankees.com. A run in for the Yankees. The A's infield in with runners at second and third, and Paul Goldschmidt, the hitter, here against righty Elvis Alvarado.
Well, this is Alvarado's first major league outing. He was just recalled today by from Las Vegas.
Pitch is low.
He was 0-1 with 5 saves. With 3.45, he was claimed off of waivers by the Athletics from the Pittsburgh Pirates in January.
Noah Murdoch let go to make room for Alvarado. So you're playing AAA ball in Las Vegas, the city that the A's are trying to get to, and you get promoted out of Las Vegas to go to Sacramento and make your debut in a ballpark that's the usual home for a AAA team. You'll remember that.
Yeah, for one, you can't wait to get out of Vegas because that's definitely a hitter's ballpark. The ball flies there, and a lot more than it does here. The Yankees with 3 home runs today.
Goldschmidt searching for his 3rd hit of the night. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Well, Bibas led off the inning with a double. And after Grisham flew out, the A's intentionally walked Judge. Ben Rice made them pay. He hit an RBI double to drive in Bibas. Payoff. That's inside. Bases loaded after ball 4 to Goldschmidt. And that'll bring up Dominguez in another prime spot, a chance to do more damage.
Now, even though you're in a minor league park, that doesn't take away the nerves. In your first big league game, you can see he's got a big time fastball.
Dominguez hitting from the left side and fouls this pitch back. Well, multi-homer night for Dominguez as he hits here with the bases loaded. Clip to the net. Let's take a look at both home runs here tonight.
Well, this is from the left side, a changeup off of Beto into right center field, and then a hanging curveball off of Harris in the left center field. Number 3 and 4 on the year.
Really good sign to see him hitting the last couple of games, getting key hits from the right side as he sends it deep in the air, right center field. Jason Dominguez absolutely switched on in Sacramento. Grand slam for the Martian. And the Yankees have put up a 10 spot here in Sacramento. It is 10-0 Bombers. The 3rd home run of the night for Jason Dominguez.
Wow. Well, he finally got a fastball to hit. First 2 home runs off speed. Have a day or have a night.
First career grand slam, a 3 home run night for Dominguez. Well, if there are kooky features to come into play at this ballpark, they're certainly not bothering Jason Dominguez.
No, absolutely not. His first home run from the right side, first grand slam, first multi-home run game, first 3-run home game. I think the Yankees have proved this is a hitter's ballpark.
Inside to Volpe. Let's take another look.
Well, it wasn't off speed. It was center cut at 99 miles
bouncer into the berm.
Doesn't even smile until he gets to the dugout. How about that? There you go.
Well, Dominguez will never forget his first trip to Sacramento, California. Now the answer is pretty easy. You let Will Warren keep going, right?
Well, there's no action in the Yankees bullpen. Absolutely. Pitch count is great. 79 pitches.
Dominguez is the youngest player in Yankee history with a 3-home run game. He passed Joe DiMaggio at 22 years and 91 days old.
Not a bad guy to pass. Jolton Joe to Jolton Jason.
This one's flown into left. I beg your pardon, center. Made the catch. Escara flies out, 2 away. We talked about the good problem that the Yankees, Aaron Boone, he talks about how he and Brad Ausmus, they come together each game to figure out which outfielder is going to get a seat as Cabrera shoots this one down the line in left field. Volpe will stop at third, and Cabrera has himself a double with 2 outs. And the Yankees are going to bat around here in the top of the 8th.
Well, he finally gets on the hit wagon here. Cabrera was the only Yankee not to get a hit in this lineup, and he goes the other way. Joins the parade.
Smoking that the other way. So a double for Cabrera. But Dominguez over the last week or so is making it a really tough decision for Aaron Boone. Basically saying, hey, don't forget about me and what I can bring to the table every day.
Yeah, it's a tough decision when you have 5 outfielders. You're trying to work them all in. Trent Grisham has gotten off to a great start. You have Aaron Judge, Bellinger.
Bibas began this inning with a double into right field. Yankees put up 5 runs here in the 8th inning against the A's. $14 hits. They're looking for more here. Runners at second and third. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Bibas strikes out, but Jason Dominguez has done nothing but strike. First from the right side. Then he said, yeah, I can do it from the left side as well. Now the right side. And then going back southpaw style. The Martian on fire here in Sacramento. Will Warren back out to start the bottom of the 8th. Why not? 10-0 Yankees. He just threw his 80th pitch. Some defensive changes for the Yanks. Pablo Reyes in right field as Lawrence Butler sends this one to center field. Grisham right there. Paul Goldschmidt also out of the game. Oswaldo Cabrera sliding over to first base from third. Oswald Peraza in the game at third base. There you see the Martian with a night to remember. A 3-homer game for Jason Dominguez. This one sliced into right field. That's going to be a base hit for Max Schumann. So he comes off the bench to pinch hit. And Schumann connects with a single.
And 3 home runs, 7 RBIs for Dominguez.
Just thinking about that stat, first, or I beg your pardon, the youngest Yankee in history, now with a 3-home run game. The importance of getting those reps in the big leagues, because when you think about it, the last couple of years, he has been sidelined. He really hasn't played that much professional baseball when you break it down.
No, you're absolutely right. And to come up here and do it at the big league level.
Here's Kurtz, number 9 hitter.
It's not easy.
So Mark Leiter Jr. warming up again moments ago.
I would imagine, regardless, this is probably Warren's last inning.
Is 1 for 2. Bounces that one foul. He hit a double back in the 6th inning. No A's player has gotten past second base tonight. Just 2 have reached scoring position. Will Warren has had it all working for him here in Sacramento. Just 1 walk on the night as well. 2-2. Reach for it, soft liner, center field. And it's back-to-back singles allowed by Will Warren. And that looks like it'll be it. Aaron Boone coming to get the ball from his young right-hander who impressed here in the series opener.
Well, he had a career night on the mound from Will Warren. Outstanding job. Very impressed, commanding the zone. Career high. 7 1/3.
Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Untuck It. Find the perfect fit today at untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. By Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. Will Warren getting some handshakes and hugs in the Yankee dugout after going 7 1/3. Though he's on the hook for 2 here in the bottom of the 8th as Mark Leiter Jr. pitches to Jacob Wilson. See the numbers on Leiter Jr. See the sinker at 95. Aaron Boone recently noting the uptick in velocity with Leiter Jr. here in 2025.
Probably health has a lot to do with that. He's got the good split, good fastball.
That one in the air to left field. It'll drop in. And the A's are going to get on the board here in the 8th inning. Schumann scores. Over to second goes Nick Kurtz. And Jacob Wilson, the impressive rookie for the A's, has himself an RBI single. It's 10-1.
Yeah, his first hit of the night. This is a splitter that stayed up out over the zone, and you can see that break coming in on a righty. He just hits it down the left field line.
Here's Soderstrom. So Warren is responsible for Kurtz at second base. His line isn't complete just yet.
Well, if you're Aaron Boone, I'm sure you would love to see Leiter Jr. get these next 5 outs with a 10-1 lead. Save the bullpen even more.
Keep those arms fresh. Nasty curveball from Leiter Jr. Carlos Rodon going tomorrow. And now you wonder, with the length that Will Warren gave the Yankees tonight, does that potentially set up someone like a Ryan Yarbrough to start in that game on Sunday? Leiter strikes out Soderstrom. 2 away. We take a look at the upcoming schedule, brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. See 2 more with the A's here in Sacramento, and then it's right off to Seattle for a 3-game set with the red-hot Mariners starting on Monday in Seattle.
They've won 9 straight series, the Mariners have. Played Toronto this weekend.
Pitch is rocked on the ground to third, and Peraza up with it. Goes to second for the force. Side retired. A's get on the board. Will Warren with a masterful performance here tonight. All right, time to reveal Name That Yankee. And only had a stint with the Yanks in 1996. Who is it now?
Aldo. Mike Aldretti. He's actually the Athletics first base coach.
He's been a long-time big league coach, but Mike Aldretti, a member of the 96 championship team, he got into 2 games in the World Series against the Braves. But the World Series was the last time he played in the majors.
Yeah, you know, I can remember even saying that that was going to be it for him, and he was going to go right into coaching after that World Series, after the 96 season.
He's been with the A's since 2015.
Well, Shaq, I said that everybody in the Yankee lineup had a hit. Well, they changed. Trent Grisham had a hit in the 6th inning. It was scored a base hit and an RBI, and they changed it to an error on the second baseman.
Yeah, so they took away the hit, they took away the RBI. Pitch bounce foul. So the line on Will Warren is complete. Gave up 1 run on 4 hits and 7 1/3. Struck out 7, walked 1. This one popped up just outside the infield. Wilson makes the catch. Let's take a look. A look back at Mike Aldretti.
Teammate up.
Well, tough left-handed hitter, and he was a really good teammate. Some Yankee years going opposite field. Some awful power.
Only played 32 games with the Yankees. They acquired him from the Angels that June. Rick Monteleone, who was a Name That Yankee earlier this year. Pop to first. Kurtz makes the catch. Reyes retired. You know, I showed Aaron Boone the Name That Yankee graphic before the game. He likes to take a look at it before every game, and he guessed Randy Velarde.
Who did?
Boone guessed Velarde. And I asked him, because he found out the answer before I did. I asked him, is the answer in the building tonight? And he said, I can't go that far. And that was the giveaway that I actually got that.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't Velarde because I kept going down the roster. I played against him, Randy Velarde, when he was with the Yankees, but he wasn't there in '96. I had to go. I couldn't think of it for a while.
And again, Aldretti in the building because he is the A's hitting coach. He's a teammate of John Elway's at Stanford. Elway's playing baseball.
Right. Drafted by the Yankees, wasn't he, Elway?
There's a look at Mike. Ben Rice doubled back in that 5-run 8th inning. So multiple times this week the Yankees offense with a big crooked number in an individual inning. As Rice hits the deck there, gets hit by the pitch, looks to be okay. Been a tough big league debut for Elvis Alvarado. Hey, Wednesday, host Gracie Cashman sits down with Anthony Volpe for an entertaining look at the numbers that have defined his career. Watch the season premiere of The Story of My Number, presented by the New York Lottery this Wednesday, following Yankees coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. New episodes will drop every Wednesday. Other guests include the likes of Doc Gooden, Paul O'Neill, David Cohn, plenty more. Nelson, when are you going to talk about number 43?
I know. I have a good story. It has to do with, well, then the Oakland A's. I wore 43 because of Dennis Eckersley. Oh. I'm available.
What'd you like about Eckersley? Raza goes down on strikes, and there is the third out. We'll pick it up in the 9th. Yankees in full control, up 10-1 in Sacramento. All right, time for the Optimum Don't Take Slow for an Answer replay.
Raza, 0-2 pitch, 0-2 slider for Beto. This was in the 3rd inning. Paul Goldschmidt, number 4 on the year, to dead central.
That started the scoring for tonight. The Yankees did plenty more from there, especially courtesy of the hitter behind Goldschmidt tonight, Jason Dominguez. A 3-home run night as Yerry De Los Santos will look to try and collect the final 3 outs of this one. Pitched a scoreless 9th inning on Tuesday against the Padres.
And making his 3rd appearance of the year for the Yankees.
They'll face Langoliers to start off the inning. 10-1. All right, what did you admire so much about Dennis Eckersley?
So I was a starter in the minor leagues all my career, and then the Seattle Mariners came to me and said, hey, we don't really have a closer or short relievers in the big leagues. We want you to be a closer. So I started closing, and I threw over top. And then one time we was in Jacksonville, Florida, it was AA for the Mariners, and Jim Campanis was my catcher, and I like, you know what, I want to try something, and I went down to the bullpen right before batting practice and started throwing like Dennis Eckersley. Eckersley throws from the 3/4 angle, and all of a sudden my fastball started moving, and the very first slider that I threw, and this is a AA catcher, he went out to catch it, and I hit him right in the chest.
Throw to first. And that's a foul ball. It was ruled foul behind Peraza from Tom Hanahan.
So my catcher, Jim Key, said, don't change. He said, so I started throwing 3/4 ever since. And I'm like, okay, as soon as I get to the big leagues, if I get to the big leagues, I'm going to start wearing number 43. My first year in '92, I wore number 40 because there was a player, the last name was Cochran. He wore 43, and then he got released, or didn't get brought back in '93, so that's when I started wearing 43, and I wore it everywhere. I used to sit at the old Coliseum in Oakland. They didn't have stands behind the home plate, and their both lockers of A's and also the visiting team, they kind of not really met.
Swing grounded back up the middle into center field, so Langoliers aboard. Hey fans, stay tuned after the final out for tonight's WB Mason Yankees postgame as Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty will have highlights and analysis. Meredith Marakovitz gets player interviews in the clubhouse, and hear from Aaron Boone on the manager's report. It's all coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
But before they put the stands, you used to be able to stand right behind home plate, right behind the fence, the backstop, and you could watch the pitchers throw. I used to sit there and watch Eckersley all the time, every chance I got.
That's awesome.
He was amazing.
That height of his dominance as a closer. This is Seth Brown pinch hitting, and he sends it deep into center. Grisham makes the catch. Last year, the final season for the A's at the Oakland Coliseum, a place they called home since 1968. This is year number 1 here in Sacramento.
You know, it's interesting. You know, Will Warren, he doesn't have a chance to go out to the locker room. I mean,
He's
got to go all
right.
the way. This is like a spring training thing. You got to go all the way across the field. Hey, you got to stay in this dugout. You know, eat it up a little bit. I mean, you pitched the game of your career so far, your young career. But you're hanging for a while.
Here's Andujar. Yeah, starting pitcher. You go back and forth from the clubhouse to the dugout. Between innings, maybe. Certainly after you're done with your work for the night. Not here.
That might put a little pressure on the pitching staff. Say, hey, you better do well, because it's a long walk if you don't.
That would be a worse walk than a manager getting ejected.
Yes. There's that long walk. That's in left center field, and right where there's an ambulance right there, if you see that truck. That's where that locker room is, just to the left of that.
One way in, one way out. That's through the fence in left center. Even for us to get up to the broadcast booth. Bounce to third. Peraza on the run. 2 away. Good play from Oswald Peraza. And the A's are down to their final out. Here's Lawrence Butler. 0 for 3 tonight. He's 9 for his last 53. Really struggling. Langoliers is at second, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Warren went 7 1/3. Gave up just 1 run on 4 hits. Struck out 7. Walked just 1. Terrific stuff tonight. Limited the walks. Pitched economically. He's in line for the win. Mark Leiter Jr. picked up the final 2 outs in the 8th. And Yerry De Los Santos an out away here in the 9th. Deep drive down the right field line. That will bang off the small wall in right. Reyes fields it. Scoring from second is Langoliers. And it's a hard hit RBI single for Lawrence Butler off the wall. Yankees in front 10-2.
Well, from up here, it looked like it might have hit the top of that wall. There you see a hanging slider that Butler turned on. You watch where this hit. Did it hit off the top of the wall? About a foot from the top of the wall and came back. Nice job by Reyes getting it in.
That is not a tall fence out there either. That's about 5 feet.
Yeah.
There you see it, the fence in right field. The wall's about 5 feet high from the right field foul pole to the end of the Yankee bullpen in right center field. And then it bounces up about 6 more feet or so. Here's Max Schumann, who singled and scored as a pinch hitter back in the 8th inning. 10-2 Yankees. And out away from taking this series opener here in Sacramento. Carlos Rodon will be on the mound tomorrow against the former Yankee J.P. Sears. So a pair of lefties going at it in the middle game. Still TBD for Sunday for the Yanks. This should do it. Volpe flips to second. There's the force. That's the ball game. And the Yankees take the series opener here in Sacramento. 10-2 the final over the A's. Jason Dominguez, 3 home runs here in the opener. And Will Warren, spectacular on the mound as he allows just 1 run over 7 1/3. Yankees win it 10-2.
Well, it's always tough coming out on the West Coast, and especially when you're going into a minor league park. Outstanding job all around by the Yankees. You just mentioned a career night from Jason Dominguez at the plate and a career night on the mound by Will Warren. Outstanding job. Exactly what you needed to lead off a road trip, and you saved the bullpen. His best start of his career so far.
So the Yankees win it. They've won 3 in a row. Thanks to the swing of the Martian. A 3 home run night for Jason Dominguez. We'll be back to wrap it up after this on Yes. Let's take a look at the Cadillac drives of the game.
Well, Jason Dominguez, this was in the 3rd. A big home run off-speed pitch from Beto. Then we're going to go to the 7th. A hanging breaking ball. His first home run of his career from the right side. Well, let's wrap it up with his first career grand slam in the 8th inning. 3 for 4, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs on the night.
Dominguez, the youngest player in Yankee history with a 3 home run game as he finishes a career night here in Sacramento. Will Warren 7 1/3 as he picks up the win, and the Yankees win their 3rd straight, 10-2 the final. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the W.B. Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and our executive producer is Jared Ames Boschnak. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees continue their series here in Sacramento. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock on Yes with the first pitch shortly after 4 o'clock. Once again, the final score, the New York Yankees 10, the Athletics 2. For Jeff Nelson and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Justin Shackle. Now let's go to Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty, who are standing by with the postgame show. Guys?
It is great to have you with us on the W.B. Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty with you. Game 1 of 3 between the Yankees and A's in the books, and the Yankees win this one big time.
Changeup. There's another curveball. Then we go to the bottom of the 4th inning with 1 out. Langoliers is going to look at that high sinker for strike 3. Blade steps in again. Warren gets him swinging again at another changeup. You can see the frustration. 6 strikeouts through 4 innings for Will Warren. There's a sweeper. Again, Bob, the theme of the night. All of his pitches, throwing them all for strikes, and really doing it efficiently with the pitch count.
So finally gives up back-to-back singles to the A's in the 8th inning. He got 1 out in that inning. So leaves after 7 1/3. That's a career high. 7 strikeouts, second most in his career. And third Yankee starter to pitch 7 or more innings. Max Fried's done it 4 times. Rodon did it back on April 23rd. But it was the way he was. I mean, we're counting off not only innings, but pitches in the innings. 4th inning, his high was 19. Last game, 4th inning, 33 pitches. What a difference he had tonight.
Yeah, there was a different mindset, a different attitude. It was going to be pounding the strike zone, getting ahead early. I mentioned on the pregame show, the most important pitch for him tonight was strike 1. He was getting ahead in counts, and he was not doing it just pumping fastballs for strike 1. He was changing speeds, mixing different pitches for strike 1, and then he was able to come up with the 7 strikeouts. Again, we just went through with the different array of pitches that he had. Changeup was excellent. Sweeper was excellent. The curveball and the fastball has just enough velocity on it. We talked on our pregame show. Yankees felt like they needed to see a little bit more from him. It's getting to be that time in his career, his 8th big league start. This year, well, he stepped up big time with 7 1/3.
Yeah, I also asked you on the pregame, what do you do with a young pitcher when he stops attacking, stops getting aggressive? I felt like this was the first start that he never let his foot off the gas.
Yeah, he never got to the middle of the game where almost he got in his own way, right? And started thinking, saying, I got to get through the 5th inning, or I got to find a way to get through this inning. It just seemed like it was inning after inning, the same type of attitude, whether it was the 1st, the 6th, and eventually getting into the 7th inning. You give J.C. Escarra credit behind the plate as well. These guys have worked together a lot lately. They seemed like they were on the same page. The rhythm was outstanding. They were on the same page with the pitch selection. All in all, he's going to remember this game for the rest of his career. Best big league start to date. But again, like Jason Dominguez, we're going to be paying attention. What do you do tomorrow? What does he do in his next start on the West Coast?
We will take our first break here on the WB Mason postgame. A lot more coming up. We're going to hear from the manager, Aaron Boone, as his guys are shaking hands after this one in Sacramento with a 10-2 win.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Get fast free delivery of food service products you need at prices you'll love. Request your free catalog today at WBMason.com. The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Host Gracie Cashman sits down with Anthony Volpe for a new season of The Story of My Number. Watch the season premiere presented by the New York Lottery this Wednesday following Yankees coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Well, let's check out our field coverage presented by Liberty Mutual. We'll go to the top of the 5th, 1st and 2nd for the Yanks. 1 out. Goldschmidt at the plate. Going to knock one into center field. Now, it looks like Blade lays out, makes an incredible grab. Having said that, Grisham was watching the play from second. He went in to score. Ben Rice saw the umpire signal out. He goes back to first. They would look at it, but look at it from this view again, and we see it's a trap.
It's a trap, but I'm going to give the Yankee base runners all the credit here. Grisham and Rice both go halfway. Grisham gets a great read. He's going to come around third, and he's going to score, or at least we thought he was going to score. Ben Rice, when he goes halfway, sees the third base umpire raise his hand for an out. He goes back to first. The umpires talk about it, and they get this play wrong, in my opinion. Trent Grisham cannot believe it. He had a perfect read off of second base going halfway, read the ball down, would have scored easily. They're going to eventually, the umpire, send him back to third. You can see how Aaron Boone feels about it. Yankees did everything perfectly base running wise, and they had nothing to show for it.
So the bottom line, they overturned the call of out, but once they ruled that Grisham went back to third, that is not a reviewable decision. Having said that, he later scored on a sacrifice fly. That was all part of a 10-run, 14-hit attack for the Yankees tonight in a 10-2 win that featured a terrific performance by Will Warren and 3 homers from Jason Dominguez. With that in mind, let's hear from Aaron Boone now in the manager's report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, what did you think of the show Dominguez put on tonight?
Very impressive. Yeah, I mean, just really, really quality at bats by him, and he's capable of things like that. Obviously, the two lefty kind of similar, high kind of moonshot, no doubters, and the right-handed ball was absolutely scorched. So just a lot of good at bats from everyone really in the lineup, and highlighted by what a night by Jason.
When you're in the dugout and you're watching guys as they go to the plate, just what is the feeling like for you when they have nights like this?
Yeah, I just thought that, starting with Grish, I don't even think Grish got a hit tonight, but I just thought he did such a good job of controlling the strike zone and seeing pitches, and just ends up walking a couple times, kind of setting the table. We pressured him a little bit early and he was able to get out of it, but they just kind of kept at it. It was just, it's fun to watch that when they're all, really gritty, grindy at bats, and then you kind of, the dam breaks because they're really good. So, just a really strong performance by everyone, and everyone kind of played a role, I feel like, in just kind of, body blow, and then explosion.
Offense sometimes steals the show, but Will Warren works into the 8th inning for the first time in his career. Did you feel like he was particularly aggressive trying to pound the strike zone tonight?
I mean, that was the result, yes, but not that I don't think he's trying to do that other times. He's capable of that right there. That's a good lineup, he's going up against tonight. The A's can hit, and it's a balanced lineup, right and left, and I just thought he had a lot of weapons. The fastball, the 2-seam, and the 4-seam were both really good tonight, and kind of allowed him to set everything up, because then he had a presence with everything too. He threw some good changeups in there. Sweeper and the curveball were good, but it all started with the fastball and attacking successfully with that where he wanted to go with it.
How significant a step is that for him to just really work deep into a game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just one of those things early in his career here that's hopefully another step for him, and another confidence booster for him that, I think he knows he can be successful in this league. But, little thing like a night like tonight is validation for that. So he was really good, man, and especially being that efficient too. Looked up that he was in the 6th inning with 60-something pitches, just getting after it. And I feel like the last few times I've really seen the electricity with his stuff.
People have been waiting for Dominguez to have games like this since you guys got him when he was a young kid. What kind of growth are you seeing from him? He had the breakout when he first came out, but what are you seeing this year in the growth?
He just needs to play. I mean, it's just experience with him. He's so talented, such a great kid, and works hard. I'm really pleased with how he continues to come along in the outfield. A couple good plays in left field tonight. That line drive right at him, like the ease with which he made that play. You can see him getting a little more and more comfortable every week, every day. So, but I mean, those are the kind of things he's capable of from a power standpoint. On a given nights, we'll really see his speed flash. So, certainly excited for him.
Aaron, was the explanation on the trap play in center when they put Grisham back on third that you can't challenge or review runner placement in a situation like that?
Yeah, once they got together and said he didn't catch it, so then they just placed them. Yeah, we couldn't at that point, I guess.
The homers from Dominguez, I think first was a changeup, then a curveball, then 97, 98 mile-an-hour heat. That kind of show you something, and just kind of the potential to do damage against anything.
I mean, yeah, okay, but I mean, 3 homers is 3 homers, and to have one from the right side, 2 from the left side, that's obviously doesn't happen a lot, and usually takes a pretty talented player to do something like that.
What do you make of the atmosphere at the ballpark tonight?
I love it. Wish we had a night game tomorrow with as hot as it is, but once that sun goes down and it's warm like that, it's a really cool environment. I think it's a really pretty park. I think they've done a really good job with it. I loved it. I love the atmosphere. I love my view from the dugout. Field looks like it's in really good shape. I thought it was great.
Was that a confidence booster for Warren, considering, the other night he gave up 7 hits and 5 runs?
Look, anytime, especially as a young player, you go out there and pitch into the 8th inning, really kind of dominating the game. I think those are important little things that happen in the course of a young career that, give you. Will's very confident as core, but you're still a young player and you're searching and looking to build a resume and have success. And a night like tonight can go a long way in continuing to prop that up.
In addition to Warren, Dominguez, Escara, Vivas have 2 hits apiece, 7 hits for rookies. How about the contribution you're getting? Everybody talks about Judge, but you guys been getting a lot of production. Bryce is another young guy from young kids.
Yeah, I think that's as big a story as anything is that, she asked earlier, the quality of the bats all night long. And that doesn't always mean you get a hit or some nights but even starting with Grish, the quality of the bats and him on base two times without getting a hit, the bottom of the lineup doing their thing a little bit, that's when you can have nights like, tonight.
Yeah, hits up and down the lineup, everybody getting on base, everybody contributing. You heard that, especially in that one big inning. I also think a little bit of the theme we've had lately here in some of these results for the Yankees that have ended up positive, guys that are developed in the system coming through, and you think of Dominguez and Will Warren tonight.
Yeah, and I thought that Aaron had a lot of positive things to say about Will Warren tonight, and the word that he kept using was confidence, right? And for a young pitcher, and I've talked about it the whole year, you got to get to the point where you believe you're good enough to be a major league starting pitcher. And I think there have been flashes of it from Will Warren, but you wonder what this game tonight is going to do for him. Not only the fact that he knows he can be a dominant starter, but also the responsibility that comes with that. We've been talking early on this year about the Yankee starting rotation not pitching deep into ball games. The bullpen is going to be worn out if that's the case. Will Warren just showed tonight that he has the capabilities pitching into the 7th, into the 8th inning to save a bullpen, not only on this West Coast trip, but eventually down the rest of the year, if he can gain the confidence of what he did tonight and kind of take it to the next level.
Well, how is Warren feeling after his performance tonight? We'll take a break on the WB Mason postgame. But when we come back, we'll take a closer look at Warren and hear from him, so stick around.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Good night for the Rooks tonight as Jason Dominguez hits 3 home runs, youngest Yankee all time with a 3-homer game. He's just 22 years and 91 days. And then Will Warren sets a new career high with 7 1/3 innings, allows just 1 run to the A's, throwing 87 pitches. What did Warren think about his outing? Let's find out in our Genesis Sounds of the Game.
Aaron just mentioned you establishing your fastball early, getting ahead in counts, and really working off of that. What enabled you to do that so often tonight?
Yeah, I think just, trusting it in zone, being in rhythm, and, I think that's kind of been, our MO all year. Tonight it was gelling, and, anytime you can get the hitter on their heels, it's going to be a good night.
When did you sense tonight that things were really kind of clicking for you out there?
About the 4th, I guess. Anytime you can get to the lineup cleanly the first time through, it's going to be a good night. I think it's just about executing every pitch. and tonight we did that.
How significant is it for you to work into the eighth inning?
Yeah, big for me personally, but big for the team too. Give those guys in the bullpen who've been carrying, a big load the whole year, a nice little rest, especially I think we have games next 5 days. So,
what did you think of Dominguez? How much does that run support and 3 home runs from him help the cause?
I know. I just said in the shower, I was like, it's not the first time I've seen you hit one right-handed, one left-handed in a game. That's awesome. It's always been there. Hopefully, he had the spark tonight and, continues with it.
We've seen him a lot in the minors, too. Is there something early on that you looked and said, I can see why there's so much hype on this kid? Is there something that stands out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he does everything, way above average. So definitely something special there. And I think, you're starting to see it unfold.
Well, even after some of your tough outings this year, you've talked about feeling close to kind of break through. Aaron has talked about that too. How validating for you and how you thought you were throwing the ball this year, even with some bad numbers, was a night like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it's close, and I meant that. I mean, like I said, I think it comes down to executing, our plan. And sometimes, you miss, a few inches outside and guy gets on, and it can change the entire game. Someone gets a hit, run starts speeding up, game speeds up on you. Tonight, I think, we executed our plan. We stayed in control of pitch to pitch, and that's why, we got into the eighth.
Will, if you don't mind me asking, it sounded like there was a lot of Yankee fans out here in Sacramento tonight. Did you feel that?
Yeah, it's definitely loud. I think I heard root for the Yankees in the 7th inning stretch or something like that, so that was nice to hear.
What do you think of the ballpark overall, the conditions and just pitching?
Yeah, I think I was just focused on pitching, on try to rule out the outside and all that. So I enjoyed it. I thought everything was, good.
So his 8th start, and every time he's broken down his starts, there's always that aha moment, it seems like, with Will Warren. So he talked about when things start going a little wrong, you can speed up. You can probably make more mistakes at that point. So I'm going to take you back to the 4th inning. He gets it out. Then he gives up a walk and a single. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes now. He not only got the next 2 outs, he got him on strikeouts.
He got him on strikeouts, but I'm going to remember the 4th, but I'm going to go to the 5th inning. The 5th inning for a lot of starting pitchers is that inning where they say, I have to get 3 outs. I put myself in line for a possibility of a win, and we know that Will Warren hasn't been able to get into the 6th inning and past that. So a 1-2-3 5th inning, all on contact, Bob, where he's challenging the hitters, pop up, couple of fly balls, an easy 5th inning. But then he gives up a hit in the 6th inning, and that's when I'm thinking, here we go again. But quickly rebounded, got 3 outs right after that. And I think once he got through that inning, he just took a deep breath and said, okay, now I can roll. And I love the fact when the media asked him about pitching into the 8th inning, his face lit up, right? He was like, yeah, that's what I need to do every time out there, not only for myself, but to give those guys in the bullpen another rest.
We're going to take another break. A lot of good things to talk about in this 10-2 Yankees win. Obviously, Jason Dominguez is part of that, and Flash and I will have more on him coming up right after this.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. New customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
We're back with our turning points of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. 3rd inning, Oswaldo Bido strikes out Judge and Rice, so Goldschmidt comes up with 2 outs.
And he gets ahead of him 0-2 right away, but here comes the slider, and it's not a terrible pitch, but not his best, and you can see that the ball carrying really well to center field. That's the 4th home run of the year for Goldschmidt.
Next batter up, Jason Dominguez is going to get a changeup.
Changeup that's going to be elevated, and once he connected with this pitch to right center field, you knew it was going to have plenty of distance into that bullpen. Dominguez and Goldie going back-to-back in the third.
3-0 Yanks at that point. They go on to win it 10-2. Memorable moments presented by Prevagen, made for your brain. Back-to-back homers this season. This is the fourth time it's happened. You remember back on March 29th, Goldie, Belly, and Judge went back-to-back-to-back. Then Judge and Chisholm did it March 29th or later in that same game. A month later, Grisham, Judge, and Rice went back-to-back-to-back. And tonight, Goldschmidt and Dominguez. How about some more remarkable notes on the Martian tonight? Home run in 3 consecutive at-bats, home run from both sides of the plate, and a grand slam. First player in Major League history to achieve all 3 of those things in the same game. Let's get some more reaction from Dominguez post-game with the media.
Tonight was special. I mean, I got a homer from the right side. My first grand slam, my 50 homer games. Today was a really special night that I will remember.
What's a game like this do for your confidence? People have been waiting for games like this for a long time, and you've had a lot of good moments. But when you have a breakout night like this, what does that do for you?
I mean, anytime you have a game like that, for sure, it's a boost of confidence, like going through.
If you ever imagine, doubling your production like that, you came in here with 3 home runs, and tonight you double it to 6 and 19 RBIs.
Not really. When I hit the third one, I was running. I was just telling myself, like, no way, there's no way. But I mean, I had a really good game.
The Yankees have been around a long time. You're the youngest player to hit 3 home runs in one game in Yankees history. Just what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. But be able to write your name in the history is a really big deal.
Jason, when you stepped up in the 8th inning, bases are loaded. In your head, are you thinking grand slam?
No, I was just thinking, get a good pitch, trying to produce for my team. That was all that was in my mind.
Boone talked about you making some good plays in the outfield, too. When you've not had success in this season, how do you keep your mindset? It's going to come and stay patient when you've always had success your whole life?
I just focus on, keep working, keep doing the thing that's going to get me better. Because, like I said before, I know, like, when you put the work in, good things are going to happen.
In batting practice, did you feel pretty good, like you're going to have a big day? How were you hitting in BP?
I felt good, but I didn't feel I'm going to have a day like this, to be honest.
What's it been like hitting at this ballpark?
First at bat was kind of tough. It was hard to see, but then it was good.
Wasn't his debut? You hit 3 home runs when you were a kid or something in the game?
And the PlayStation. No, in real life. Real life.
Are you playing you?
Yes. I just got to the big league last night.
Do you feel this ballpark is any different in any way for you? Is this ballpark any different in any way for you?
I think I'm right.
I mean, the dimensions are different. Those big league stadiums that are pretty big and all the screens, but the field is, I feel like, all the other ones.
You're on deck in the 9th. Are you thinking about 4 at that point? What does that feel like?
I mean, I was just going to another bat with bases loaded, get some more RBIs. I want to hit.
We're going to take another break. When we come back, more on the Yankees teeing off tonight in a 10-2 win over the A's. We will hear from the captain, Aaron Judge, coming up right after this.
Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires. The Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
Let's shed some more light on the terrific night, historic night that Jason Dominguez had. Only 5 other players in Yankees history have had 3 homer games with a grand slam. Lou Gehrig, Tony Lazzeri, Mike Stanley, A-Rod, and Aaron Judge twice. But Dominguez joins them tonight. Let's hear from the captain, Aaron Judge, about the might of the Martian in this one.
Aaron, just how enjoyable is it for you as a teammate to watch Dominguez break out the way that he did tonight?
Oh, that was incredible. Just even going back to spring training, guy goes out there, wins a job. The work I saw him put in on the backfields when no one was really looking on the defensive side, to the work in the cage, and then to see him, have a game like this tonight, 3 homers, it's just special. I think you see the excitement out of everybody in the dugout on each homer, and happy for him. He's going to have a fantastic year, and this is another special night that we got to watch.
3 home runs, drove in 7. You mentioned it, just 22 years old. Is there anything in particular that stands out? I mean, obviously 3 homers, but was there a moment tonight where you just kind of were like, wow?
Well, I think it was, for me, it was the first homer. Goldie goes up there, tough at bat, down 0-2, drills the ball out to center, and then he goes up there and he was ready to hit. First pitch, fastball, fouls it off, and then, guy dots a changeup away that he's able to get the barrel on and drive it out to right center. It's just impressive, and then you go back to the grand slam, bases loaded, big moment. Then you got a rookie on the mound, young guy, and he goes out there and has a swing like that. It's just impressive. I think just his patience up there, his discipline. Guy's always ready to hit.
Aaron, how much have you just thought about coming back here and playing a first game in Sacramento?
Excited. The fans were rowdy. It was a packed house. That was pretty cool playing a game here. I haven't played a game here since, I think, Fresno State days, so it was nice to be out there and see some familiar faces, that's for sure.
Did reality meet your expectations and what you were expecting tonight?
Yeah, anytime you play the A's, they're a great young ball club that, they're going to put up a fight. They got a great pitching staff, great lineup. So, it was tough there kind of in the beginning, but, the bats kind of woke up for us. And then, like I said, playing in front of the fans, there's a lot of Yankee chants, which was cool, and just a lot of support, that's for sure.
What do you think about Will's pitching tonight, getting to the 7-8 inning?
Impressive. He's had a couple starts where he's kind of right there around the cusp of either, kind of extending it, or are they going to take him out, and then for him to go out there and, take it all the way like he did, that was, he's been working his butt off. He's another guy that, all year long, especially with the injuries to Cole, Luis Hill, have a guy like this step up, get some confidence, have a great outing like he did tonight. That was pretty impressive, and looking forward to more of it.
Aaron, how do you think the ballpark played, in BP for yourself and your at-bats? You're inches away from a home run.
It's a good place to hit. A couple of those balls have no business getting to the track like that, and, they did. So it was looking forward to tomorrow.
Did you think you had one?
I didn't. First one's too low, kind of top spun it. Next one get jammed. So just got to find the barrel on one of these.
Family here?
We do a lot of family, a lot of friends. They had a nice little box up there, so that was cool to see. But yeah, definitely a lot of familiar faces in the crowd.
You guys are used to get here than to Oakland, San Francisco?
Yeah, a little easier. You don't have to deal with the bridge and kind of the traffic down there in the Bay Area, but they'll come anytime we play in California. They'll show up anywhere.
Do you bring any kids through your foundation from the Central Valley?
Not here. It was kind of we do it in Oakland. We got a nice little setup over there, but we didn't know what to expect here in Sacramento, so not this time.
Did it feel different because it was Sacramento? I mean, or at the end of the day, did it just feel like kind of being back in Oakland as well?
Yeah, it just felt like being home. Anytime we play the A's, it's just always something that's familiar to me and close to home to me. So it was special.
Well, again, Aaron Judge grew up about 50 miles away from where they were playing tonight in West Sacramento. Sounds like he wants to get in a home run rhythm tomorrow night and hit in that park. But perfect game for him because not only does he get a hit and get on base twice with an intentional walk as well, but he gets to talk about his teammates and everything they accomplished.
Yeah, which Aaron Judge loves to do. But the one thing that jumped out to me, how honest he was about what a great place this is to hit, and I can't wait to get here tomorrow. And major league hitters, when they go to a new stadium, a new setup, two things jump out at you. Do I see the ball with the hitter's eye and the background? It looked like the Yankees obviously saw the ball well tonight. And will the ball carry? Aaron Judge told us that he had a couple of balls that he didn't even think should have gotten to the warning track, and they did. So you get excited if you're a hitter to come back tomorrow for a day game where you expect the ball to carry even better.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about that day game coming up. It's going to be Carlos Rodon on the hill trying to get him a win in Game 2 of this series. And Flash and I will talk about that coming up next.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
2 more games to go in Sacramento. The pitching probables come your way courtesy of Nissan. Yanks will be facing 2 former Yankees in J.P. Sears on Saturday and Luis Severino on Sunday. It's Rodon and TBD on Sunday. Really good pitching matchup coming up here, Flash, on Saturday. Rodon, his last 4, he's 3-0, just 3 runs allowed. And J.P. Sears, his last 4, just 5 runs allowed.
Yeah, you see that ERA for J.P. Sears, 2.93. That's how well he's throwing the baseball this year. Carlos Rodon, you remember at the beginning of the year we were talking about, well, he's throwing the ball great, but he made that one mistake. Well, he's not doing that anymore. You mentioned the numbers over his last 4 starts, one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. But tomorrow for me is Jason Dominguez batting from the right side against the left-handed pitcher J.P. Sears. What we are starting to see with the home run tonight, the double that he had his last game from the right side, Jason Dominguez seems to me like he's figured something out. I want to see 2 or 3 at-bats against a left-handed starter tomorrow and see if he can build on what he did tonight.
All right, so don't forget to join us later on today because our coverage begins on Yes and the Gotham Sports app at 3 o'clock for the batting practice show. 3:30 pregame and first pitch a little after 4 o'clock. Big win on a Friday night in Sacramento for the Yanks, 10-2 over the Athletics. We look forward to seeing you again Saturday for some afternoon baseball on Yes and the Gotham Sports app with our coverage starting at 3 o'clock. Until then, take care.